Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
Why did I show up on camera again? What's up, Nick?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 131, presented by Cosmic DG. Go for all your cosmic needs. Go check out CosmicDG.com. This is episode 131. Matt, we had just started. You and I were talking for about 5 minutes, apparently aimlessly, not even into the streaming world, because intern Ben, whose pay we have officially started to dock after every mess up, did it again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one. That one's a system software fault. I usually blame Ben, but that was not Ben.
Let's go.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll blame Ben because I'm all the way over here. I was ready.
Yeah, we talked maybe aimlessly, but we got our intro a little bit more dialed in. And I have to say, Paul McBeth just texted me, said he's ready to go about, well, now that we're a little late, 55 minutes or so. And along with Dylan Cease, with that lineup, it's hard to say this, but I'm going to say it. SAI ANANDA. Is that how you pronounce it, Evan?
Oh, I don't know. That's not for me to answer.
Okay, so we have Sayananda lined up. She will be on in approximately 13 minutes or so, and that is going to be a fantastic interview, which, like I said, it's crazy to say. I mean, you got Paul McBeth and Dylan Cease. By the way, Dylan's the opening day pitcher for the Chicago White Sox next week, like 7 days out. That's what he's doing, and he's joining our show tonight. Wow. So
pretty awesome.
So
huge
yeah,
news when it comes to Dylan and Paul. So if you hadn't seen it on Instagram, we are going to talk about it later, but they had dropped some big news about they acquired something down in the Florida area, but we're going to let them really spill the beans on it. And so anyways, beautiful day here in Virginia, 75 degrees.
Evan, what did we see or
nice.
miss with the disc golf world this weekend? I mean, some of us saw it, some of us might have missed it. What happened?
Yeah, we had a Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver event go down this weekend in Houston, Texas. That marks the third straight Disc Golf Pro Tour event in Texas, and now we're off for a week and leaving the state of Texas. But we had the Innova Open at the Texas State Disc Golf Championship. I think I got that title right. A lot of people know it as Texas States, but they did call it the Innova Open, so it's a little bit tricky. You might see both. But as people know, we have Sayananda coming on the show. She took it down in FPO. It is her first Disc Golf Pro Tour victory in her 100th PDGA event. I find that very cool. But she has joined the winner's circle on tour, beating some notable names, including Kristen Tatar, Owen Scoggins, Holland Hanley, Katrina Allen. I can go on. It was an incredibly strong field for a silver event, but Sai takes it down. She had the lead going into the final round and holds off Krista Tatar, who, interesting enough, might have been the pick going into the final round, but she was not able to make a comeback against Sai. Krista Tatar was, I believe she was trailing by 4 strokes in the final round, and she has never actually had a comeback on tour from 4 strokes on tour into the final round. I think she has 15 attempts with 3 or more strokes trailing and has yet to get that win. I found that interesting looking it up, because a lot of people are like, got to watch out for Kristen Tatar behind. And as great as Kristen Tatar is, we haven't seen a kind of monumental comeback. We did see a 2-stroke one at Waco, but maybe not a 3 or 4 stroke or more. Over in MPO, we have Calvin Heimberg taking it down. He might be the hottest player in disc golf right now. He has not finished off the podium all season long. He is number 1 in disc golf pro tour points. He's number 1 in the Statmando power rankings and DG rankings. However you look at it, he's kind of number 1 as of late. Doesn't seem to be stopped and is not looking like he's dropping off anytime soon. We had Anthony Barella get a podium spot along with Joel Freeman and James Proctor. Oh, excuse me, James Proctor finished 4th. But he finished right up in there. Alden Harris coming in 5th, which is a cool one for a friend of the Nick and Matt show. Interesting enough, Gannon Burr, who just won in Austin, finished down in 19th. That's one of his lowest silver finishes in his career. Here's an interesting little tidbit. He has not finished in the top 10 at any Texas-based silver event. He's 0 for 2. But at every other silver event he's played outside of Texas, he's 100% making the top 10, 6 for 6. I find that really neat. Not that it really is very telling. He, of course, won an elite event the weekend before, but interesting enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got more, but let me break and let you guys hop in.
No, do it. We want you to bring it all.
All right. Okay. Here's a stat that I just found just 30 minutes before the show started. If you're watching live, you may have seen a tweet about it, but I wanted to share it. Last year, many of us knew that Sayananda actually had the longest bogey-free streak on tour at 66 holes. She did that all within U.S. Women's, which was one of her best finishes to date before this great win. But 66 holes all in one event in U.S. Women's is the longest bogey-free streak last year. This year, the longest bogey-free streak is also held by Sayananda at 37 holes. She went from Austin in round 2, or the Open at Austin in round 2, up until round 1 at Texas State's, going 37 holes without a bogey. She bogeyed hole 16 in round 1, and then immediately following went on a 26-hole bogey-free streak, excuse me. I don't even know what I said. Something weird that I hear laughing in the background.
Bogey-free stroke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that bad. Cool. If you add those together, that's 63 bogey-free hole streak combined of those two. If you exclude that one hole, which was just 3 strokes. 3 holes. Oh my goodness.
He's having a stroke. I think he's having a stroke. And
streaks. There's too many of these.
It brings me back to the
She went bogey free a lot of times in a row. I'll leave it at that.
It brings me back to the field of strength talk and all that. It's pretty good. We're good.
God, yeah.
We have found my kryptonite there's a lot of kryptonite with me speaking and monologuing. I try not to do it too often.
Once a week.
But I'll also drop this might be the first time many people are hearing of Sayananda. She's been playing on tour, I'll say, since 2017. She played Beaver State Fling, her first national tour event in 2017, finished top 10. This was actually her 10th top 10 finish on tour. So she's not some brand new newcomer, although you might be hearing her for the first time. This was her first win. She has a cash rate of 73% on tour and has some great finishes and really consistent finishes before this big win.
So you gave a great recap. Realistically, we don't need to talk about it, but I just thought it was interesting. The Calvin Heimberg is hot this season. Now, hot this season is relative to a few events here, but I feel like, no credit to me, but I think last year, my picks of he's the least winningest person, all this, it was just getting him down. I think me starting out the season with picking Calvin is all he needed to really just that confidence, man. So yeah. Calvin, I'm sorry about the previous years, but this is your year, I think.
I got one more, at least for now, Calvin Heimberg stat about his win. He won by 6 strokes. I didn't mention it on the recap, but a big win from the Silver Field. That's his largest margin of victory of his career on tour.
Wow.
That was his, I got to add up real quick. That would have been his 10th win, including silver, majors, elite, and silvers. 10th win on tour. His previous best win margin was 2. So it over triples it. It was his first really, I'll say, blow away win. He was in the driver's seat probably. It was probably kind of over since hole 12 or 14, and he was in a comfortable position even before that. The rest of his wins have really felt like they come right at the end. And I mean, we saw in Vegas, he wasn't even leading going into the last hole, but wins by 2 strokes. So that's what we've kind of seen in the past. So it's really cool to see him get this really just monumental big win.
Boring. No, bring the hot takes.
Yeah, realistically, I think one last thing before we bring Sai on, I think one last thing to really talk about the tournament is this was also a throw pin qualifier event and USDGC qualifier event. So just kind of shouting out the people, Anthony Barella, James Proctor, Alden Harris, and Aaron Gossage punching their ticket in on the MPO side, and on the FBO side, Sai Ananda got it from this win at Texas State's. And then, is it just one for the FPO side?
Just one spot?
Ooh.
Is it just one spot? That's what I'm seeing on YouTube.
Yes. Sai's nodding yes in the green room.
Oh, all right. I thought they did 2 spots. I thought it was 4 and 2. But I guess it's just one spot. So anyways, Sai punched her ticket in to the throw pick 'em bet. So one of the kind of perks about playing a lot of the events throughout the tours, you have multiple opportunities, with some players coming very close to qualifying for the event, especially on the MPO side.
And picking up a win kind of makes it nice and easy. You don't have to play out those tiebreakers and have people who already qualified finish above you. If you just win, you're in, and that's cool.
Right. So a few notes here before we get to the interview. You may remember the name Doug Bjerkes. Well, he was the president of Dynamic Discs up until just recently, and now he joins the PDGA in what he called a director level role. And my understanding is, without talking to him, that he's going to be helping significantly with the majors, the events. Now, if you know anything about him, that's a big part of what he did at Dynamic Discs. Everything from the Dynamic Disc Open, the Glass Blown Open, large quality events, running majors, as in Worlds, both the junior level, and I think it would have been at the Pro Open level as well. So that's something worth noting. I don't know if we're going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but he's going over to help the PDGA. I think that is a wonderful move for the PDGA, for the quality of their majors. One other note here before we get into the interview. You may have seen it going around a bit. Katrina Allen is on record now publicly as noting her opinion and stance towards transgendered women competing in the FPO division. There is what is called, and I don't pronounce this right, I'm sure, but amici curiae. it's like a memo, if you will, to the Supreme Court for open cases that are there. Currently, Katrina Allen's on that list, and so are 67 other female athletes, coaches, sports officials, and parents of female athletes. So you had Sarah Hokum also on this list, as well as a handful of other FPO players who may not be as well known, but significant nonetheless, as nobody had been speaking up either for or against it in the FPO division. We do know the PDGA sent a poll out to members. We do know that there were FPO players who responded to that, but nameless. To this point, that is the first notable in that regards. I'm not sure what will happen with that, but I just wanted to point that out. That is interesting that that name is in a Supreme Court document at this point. So, well, Tatar's returning to Estonia. She's on her way back probably right now. It takes a while to get back there, and apparently her flight was, unknowing to her, originally canceled. Guess there was some strike or something from her airline, and now she had to get another flight, but she's on her way back for a break, which is going to be short, and then she'll return back to the US to compete. All right, Nick, tell us about tonight's one of tonight's awesome sponsors of the show. We're going to talk about Players Meeting. Tell us all about the Players Meeting.
Yeah, so the Players Meeting, we've talked about this before in the past. It is a weekly newsletter that comes out actually now during the season twice a week. One of the biggest things, it's really, realistically, it's your best if you're trying to catch up on disc golf in about 5 minutes and you like to read in the morning, check out theplayersmeeting.com. Sign up with your email. That's how you subscribe to it. It doesn't cost you any money. You just subscribe to it. You get weekly newsletters on what's going on in the disc golf world, rather than listening to the 2-hour podcast with the Nick and Matt show or Grip Locked or anything like that. You are able to digest what's going on in the disc golf world twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, at the Players Meeting weekly newsletter.
Yeah,
so check it out, subscribe to it. It's awesome.
I do subscribe to it, and one of the things I read lately, or the most recent, was James, quote, not a doctor, unquote, Proctor. And that's a name that's been coming up a lot lately. And the way that they write this, just to give you a little taste of it, since the season started, you've likely heard those names thrown around: Dr. Proctor or the proctologist. James Proctor is no doctor, but he's a clinician in distance, shot shaping, and being an all-around great guy. And then it goes on for one more line here. For the uninitiated, his history runs deep, especially on the West Coast. And up until last year, he held a full-time job while being a weekend warrior in the 1040 rated club. And then he goes on. Here's his off the course story, so on and so forth. Anyways, he brings up lots of great topics like that in this Players Meeting document. It takes 4.5 minutes to read this whole newsletter. It's not long, but you get packed with all the information you want to know about the disc golf world. Twice a week.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, we've made it to that time. I'm really excited to do this. We're going to welcome to the show, everybody, SAI Ananda, the winner of... I don't know the full name. The Texas.
The Innova Open.
There you go. Innova Open. Texas State Disc Golf Championship. Welcome to the show, Sai. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. And it is the Innova Open at Texas State.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's actually
You
the
would know it.
DGPT
You won
silver.
it. So we're gonna take your.
Okay, yeah, no, you're yeah, that's official.
Yeah, we're gonna take your word for it. Really quick, I think a lot, and we want to make sure that we don't mispronounce it. Just, is it Ananda? How should we say the last name?
Soft A's, so Ananda.
Okay.
I am so horrible with enunciation. Whose name did I mess up last time? It was
Probably Lukia.
Oh, that's a good one too.
There was Hannah Wynn.
Bazooka Tom.
Oh, Win, yeah.
Oh, Win, yeah. So, but Tom, who thinks a last name like Tom, you could just say Tom, but he's like, no, you got to pronounce it like Tom. Anyways,
Tom.
they're good names. We're great to have you on. I'm gonna be honest. We've heard your name for a few years, but man, we don't know much about you. I mean, Evan had all the stat research on you, but I know that our listeners,
the stat research.
yeah, Statmando doing great things over there.
Yeah.
But we got to kind of start. Besides saying congratulations, we do want to talk about that win. But let's just get into a little bit of where you come from and who you are.
Well, I come from Spokane, Washington, in the Northwest. We've got a lot of park courses and a lot of kind of like wooded courses. So that's kind of the golf I grew up with. I started playing really casually in like 2009, I want to say. And then as the years progressed to like 2010 and 2011, I started to get a little bit more focused on the technical part of the game and kind of like, if I threw better, this would be way more fun than throwing 90 feet at a time and then having everybody watch me, just stand there and be like, okay. And so I was really motivated to like have better skills so I could have more fun on the course and just kind of like enjoy myself. So that was like a huge motivator probably back in like 2010 and 2011. And I was just a little goober that liked to play out in the woods and stuff like that. And, I enjoyed the flight of the disc and having a little picnic and just like being out in the woods. So that was kind of the big start for me, was just enjoying disc golf and liking it as a recreation, basically. And then I started to get just kind of like, I don't know, it's not like it was a bug that hit me instantaneously. It was like it was a little viral disease that just like slowly crept in. And then all of a sudden I was doing field work. And then all of a sudden I was doing form analysis on YouTube. And all of a sudden I was watching slow-mos with my dad and stuff like that. And so all of a sudden I went from this really casual junior, like little girl player to all of a sudden like, I really like disc golf and I love all the technicalities. And my dad and I remember I lived in a small town called Cheney. It's where Washington State University is, or Eastern Washington University is, my bad. And so my parents went to school there, so we would always go out to the recreational fields that they had for like rugby and baseball and football and stuff like that and soccer. So we would always go out to those fields and just take out all of our discs and throw them as far as we possibly could. And that was just like such a wonderful time just to go out in the summer. And then even sometimes at night, the football players would play and have their practice late, but then they would leave all of the stadium lights on. So we would go get to do field work at night on like this beautiful field. So that was kind of the start for me. And then I guess it just kind of took off from there. I played my first women's global event as a junior, and I won it locally and I won it globally. And I got sent like a mini and I got a free pair of shoes. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I didn't know I could like be so good at this. And then so that was in 2012. And then I played my first chick flick, and I basically played an all women's event to start. That was the environment that I wanted. And it was so much fun to just see other girls throwing and see other girls playing. And so 2012 and 2013 that was like the roots, that was the ground where I started playing.
Wow.
And then it just kind of was exponential from there in my junior career. And then I think I had a few good wins in my junior career. I got to win Junior Worlds in 2014, which was super huge for me. I went again in 2015, and I ended up tying for third place. Congratulations to Kaylee Campbell, who won that year. It was super awesome to watch her play. She was phenomenal. And then in 2016, I was, a lot of time had passed, and I was serious about disc golf. And so I told myself that if I won Am Worlds, that was it, and I was going to go pro. So in 2016, I won Am Worlds for my second world title, and that was it. I never really looked back. I think I declined cash once at a local event. That way I could keep my amateur status to make that event. And then from there in 2016, that's kind of when the rocky road kind of started for me, and my battle to kind of realize my potential and my dreams as a professional player in disc golf.
Wow. I said wow in the middle of all that too. And I mean wow in a very positive way. You're giving us more content than we could have asked for. So I appreciate that very much. It's incredible to get to know you in this way. One of your friends, I hope you don't mind, Melody Bailey. You know Melody?
Yes, I love her. She's my best friend.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. So I may or may not have reached out to her and asked her for some insight on you so we could get some better questions out there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, so shout out to your local crew back there, including Hannah Wynn, Nicole Johnson, Shauna Buzzingham. You probably know all these names, as well as
Monica Milstead.
Okay, there you go. As well as Melody, of course. These are all sponsored players. She mentioned, and I'm just going to quote her, that you were the young one who always strived to be at their level. And I don't know if she intended for me to read that, but is that how you kind of saw it coming up in that local area?
I was, and it was Melody Bailey was actually the first female pro that I ever got to play with at women's global event. So they did like mixed cards. So they had like a junior and a advanced and like a, and a pro to kind of like mix it up for the first tee times and stuff like that. So she was the first pro I ever really got to play with. And ever since then, I was like, wow, I want to play with pro women. I want to play with women with that skill and that determination, and that just like I just remember her watching her throw and watching her putt and just being like, oh, you're so cool.
Yeah, and so that was all from like your local area, as I understand it. So when you were playing events, it wasn't a walk in the park to start getting your event wins, right?
No, not at all. Melody Bailey at the time was a touring player, and so she was out there competing with the best of the best and having really good finishes, and she was at a really good point in her career. So that was so amazing for me to kind of have her to like bridge the gap between where I was locally and like where I wanted to be professionally, because she was out there competing with the top level players, and then I got to play with her. So that was like a really huge like moment for me to really like take in a lot and just like learn from her what she was doing, the decisions she was making, the aggressive plays, because I've always been a very conservative player. So then I watch her like just smash things with a rock all the way and pipe it down the fairway and run those 45-foot putts and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it takes to kind of like be in the FPO field. No layups or stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you demonstrated that at this event. Nick, what do you got?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, obviously, congratulations on the huge win. We know this means a lot to you in your career that's going to just have a very, very bright future to it. You're sponsored by Westside, and not a lot of players out in the tour. You don't really see too many of them. Matteo, yourself, talk to us about how the relationship started with Westside, and then are they doing anything, to kind of commemorate this win?
Well, I actually started out with Latitude 64. Latitude 64 was my first like official disc manufacturing sponsor when I turned pro in 2016. So that was a really huge moment for me. And even though in 2016 I was traveling as much as possible, but I was really keeping it in the Northwest and just kind of, playing as many A tiers as possible and just kind of getting as much experience as I possibly could in the local area. And at that time I was still relying on my parents financially to help me get to events and stuff like that, and then working little side jobs as much as I possibly could. So Latitude 64 was kind of where it all started with me with Trilogy. And I was with them for 6 years, and it was so awesome. It was like, I don't know, it's dorky to say, but it was like that moment where you're like, I'm a pro now. I got a disc sponsor, like it's kind of official, and it's so that really like helped me feel like a pro and kind of like start to grow into that mentality of like I am a professional. And so I was with them for 6 years, and during those 6 years I was just trying to do more and better every single year, more and better, more tournaments, better finishes, and just test myself, push myself as much as I possibly could, not only in disc golf, but, in my life, see how much I can work, see how much I can do to rally funds, to put myself out there and just give it a go. And so I ended up reaching out to Beacon Sports Management because I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of a small town girl, and sometimes the navigation of the contracts and the social media and stuff like that is not something I have like a solid grasp on. So I wanted to see if I could find someone insightful who could kind of help me navigate this circuit of sponsorships and endorsements and stuff like that. So my dad actually ended up reaching out to him and just kind of laid my story out a little bit and was like, hey, like, is there anything you can do to help her out? She's, obviously a really great player, and she shows a lot of skill, and she just needs a chance to go out there and show people, the skills that she has. So I eventually reached out to him myself and kind of just hit it off and told him, a little bit of, my junior story, and then kind of from 2016 on, which is kind of I mean, to put it lightly, a little bit of a struggle bus, from when my professional career started, when I won Am Worlds. And so I reached out to him, and he was like, I love your story. I see you playing out there, and I believe in you, and I think you've got the stuff, and I want to help you, get the support that you need so you can go out there and kind of like show your stuff, you know what I mean? And so Beacon Sports Management was like super duper huge. And within a couple of weeks, he had reached out to Westside Discs, and Westside Discs had reached out to Latitude 64 and kind of, did a little bit of the background work, and Latitude 64 ended up giving their blessing to switch me over to Westside Discs, to get me a contract to kind of propel me a little bit more out on tour, just a little bit more financial support, and then obviously the wonderful Tour Series discs and the Dymax. See, I'm having my word things too now. And so they were just able to give me that little bit of financial backing that I desperately needed, because last year and the year before and the year before that, it's all been self-generated. It's all been, money out of my pocket that I'm spending on registration fees, and I'm spending on lodging, and I'm spending on gas and food and everything. So up until last year, I was working full time. I was my own trainer. I was my own dietitian. I was my own motivational speaker on some days and stuff like that. I was my own tour manager. And so I was doing it all myself. And you only have so many seconds and so many hours in the day, so it's like I could only afford to work so much to save up the money I needed to go play. And so that's why people always said, wow, we don't see SAI ANANDA very often, but when we do, she sure lights it up. Or, like my performance at US Women's and stuff like that. A lot of people had never heard of me before that, 66 holes bogey free. And I've always kind of been there under, behind the curtains and underneath kind of doing my thing, but just it's kind of paradoxical where it's like, you need support to get out there and prove yourself, but they want you to get out there and prove yourself before you get the support. So I was just so immensely grateful that Westside Discs took that little bit of a leap on me and said, hey, we'll give you that backing, and we'll see what you can make of it. And you kind of see, what I've been able to do with just that little bit of extra support.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you mentioned the grind of the tour and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but how does a win like what you just had, does it change it? Does it change your perspective? What does it do for your future thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't want to sound corny, but it's kind of just feels like where I'm meant to be. You know what I mean? It's all of the time that I spent, like watching coverage and watching all the events that I wanted to go to. And then I'd go to US Women's and I'd always play Worlds. US Women's and Worlds are huge. And then I'd play as many of the big tournaments as I could that were in the Northwest, like the Beaver State Flings, the Portland Open, and in the Montana and California area and stuff like that. So honestly, the win, it almost kind of feels like a homecoming, it feels like I have been like visualizing and mentally putting myself in this position for so long. Like, every tournament that I've played back home, I always imagine like that. I always kind of put myself in the position of like what would that have been like if it were a big major event, or when I win a little local A tier, what if that was a big event. So I've just been like visualizing myself in this position. Like I think I said in the interview with Nate Perkins, like this interview, this round, this win, like this is all what it's been for, just to be here right there. So honestly, I just feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm so thankful that I get to spend the rest of the year on tour.
Well, I guess that was going to kind of bring up my next question is, over the past couple of years, you haven't played, an insane amount of events every single year, working, all those good things take time away. But are you planning on the full season this year? Is this legitimate? You're out there full time on the road?
It's legit. It's legit. I get to go home. I'm on my way home right now. And I think I'll get to spend like 3.5 weeks at home, just kind of resting, recuperating, and getting rid of all of the boots and socks and pants and thermals that I've had to use in the last couple of tournaments, and swap them out for skirts and dresses and stuff like that. And then I think I have a small break in July as well, where I get to come home and rest a little bit. But other than that, I plan on touring full time. And like you mentioned earlier, I made it to the Throw Pink USDGC, so I'm so excited for that. And then maybe I will make the Disc Golf Pro Tour Point Series finale at the end of the year. We'll see how that goes too. But yeah, officially on tour and swinging.
Awesome. I think, we've kind of dug in a little bit about your life now, getting into disc golf, where you're at now in disc golf. Talk to us about that final round. You're going against some heavy hitters that are in the FPO division, one of them being Kristen Tatar, reigning world champion, incredible player. What are the feelings like going into that final round and then being able to pull out the win towards the end of it? But just kind of walk us through what was going on that whole round.
Man, I've looked up to these players for a really long time. I mean, I follow Holland Handley on Instagram, and I follow all of her like sidearm tips. I'm trying to work on my forehand. So like the utmost respect for Holland, and just like her tips have genuinely helped my form and stuff like that. So that's been super awesome. I mean, own freaking Scoggins, like an absolute gangster in disc golf, just like a putting phenom, one of my putting idols essentially. And I love watching her play so much. And I mean, Kristen Tatar, the #1 player in the world right now, just it was unreal. It was so unreal to go into that round with the lead. All I could think was, man, if there's strokes out there for these ladies to get, they're going to try for it. They're going to try and take it, and they're going to try so hard for this win because they want it just as much as I do. And so I honestly kind of just had to put those kind of anticipatory feelings aside a little bit, because when it comes down to it, it's just the throws. The win is amazing, and the crowd is amazing, and the support is amazing, and obviously there's so much emotion, and there's so much tied to the event in and of itself. But when it comes down to it, it's just the throws. It's just one throw at a time. It's just one putt at a time. And so I really tried to distill and not think about the fact that I have the number one player in the world. There was a meme that came out that was like, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. It's like anyone in FPO who has the lead, and then like Kristen Tatar just like booking it behind you. And that was real. That was definitely real. She has so much skill and an amazing forehand, an amazing putter, and just like an incredible person and someone I look up to just in general. And so just to get back to it, I just tried to distill everything and just kind of believe in myself, like I've been making great putts so far, and I've made great putts before, and the course I think was very similar to courses I've played in the past. Like I think some people had commented it's a park course, flat, no real elevation change except for the 2 mound holes, open greens, and then just some technical shots that you kind of have to shape down the fairway, which I think definitely suits my game. And so I just told myself to just kind of breathe and stay calm as much as possible, try not to get too far ahead of you, not only focus on each shot that I had, but stay engaged with each player's shot. That way I don't get too ahead of myself and kind of get into an anxious state, or kind of get stuck in the past thinking about a previous hole or a previous shot or something like that. Really tried to, I mean, it's corny, but really tried to stay in the moment and engaged with my players and the card and the course, and check the wind as much as possible, and just one throw at a time, one putt at a time, and just try to trust myself and have faith in every throw that I kind of put out there. And I don't know, if I were watching me and I were another person and I were to look at the lineup on the final round and would have been like, who do you think is going to win? I'm pretty sure my cards would have been on Kristen.
Yeah.
Pretty sure my cards would have been on her. So I absolutely surprised myself, and I'm, I mean, I don't want to be too corny, but I am proud of myself for being able to not only play a really good round, put myself in position, but then to like not succumb to the nerves and everything that tournament means to me, and not get too ahead of myself, and to actually to like do it. So insane. So
fantastic, by the way. We have questions written down and you just answer them all in one swoop, which is great. And this is what we want on here. Less of us, more of you. So you seem to be pretty detail oriented. This is something I've just recognized just already in getting to meet you tonight virtually. Do you teach yourself the game? I think I heard you earlier mention you looked, maybe when you were younger, YouTube and all that, you started evaluating. Do you record yourself? How are you learning to be a better player?
I think there's a lot of studies to suggest that visualization has a huge impact on mental and physical performance. So that's something really huge in my practice, is visualization and kind of mentally putting myself in certain scenarios, or even when it comes to breaking down my form, just kind of having that top-down view of my own body, drone style, and just kind of watching my arm, watching my pull through, and being able to visualize myself kind of where my release point is and where I'm hitting lines. So that's a huge part of my practice, is just kind of like visualization and kind of mentally integrating a lot of the things that I practice. And then, I mean, there is some form analysis and videoing myself and stuff like that. My dad used to be into street skating and snowboarding a lot. And so back in the day, we had a little VHS player, and he was into snowboarding. And so he would like break VHS players, because he would go pause, rewind, slow-mo. Pause, rewind, slow-mo. And he would just watch a snowboarder or a skater, and he would just like break down their movements in slow motion. And so I think that had a lot of influence on me going into disc golf, because my dad caught the bug as well. He's a very passionate and avid disc golfer as well. And so both him and I got really, really excited about it. So we basically did the same thing, but without VHS. I remember watching slow-mo videos of Will Schustrick back in the day and just really like analyzing his form, and even slow-mo videos of Nico Lacastro when he first came on the scene and was like the it player. His form was unique and different than anyone else's, and the flight characteristics that he chose. So, and I mean, of course, slow motion videos of Paige Pierce and Paul McBeth back in the day were, huge inspirations for me in kind of picking out those minute little movements and stuff like that. And so I think for a long time I watched a lot of other players, and then I started to kind of turn that focus inward and taking slow-mo shots of myself or getting drone footage of myself with like some local camera crews and stuff like that. And so video analysis is super huge. I need to do that more on my putts. I only do it really on my drives. There's not a lot of video analysis on my putts, but yeah, so video analysis, visualization, a little bit of field work. But honestly, I don't really like to overdo field work because I feel like I do different things in the field that I would on the course. So if I'm trying to work something out, I'll definitely go out to a wide open field and throw. But honestly, a lot of my practice is on the course, or I like to participate in local leagues so I can be, competitive with the boys. And that's really fun. Competing in local leagues is really awesome just to get practice with that like competitive side of disc golf, not like so much the technical side, but getting used to being on the card and not only staying focused on your game, but staying engaged with the other players on your card, I think is really huge. Disc golf is like a gentleman's sport. So if you're just sitting there, head down, only throwing, and you're not really talking to anybody, for me, that doesn't really embody, the spirit of disc golf. You obviously want to be focused and, engaged in your throws, but it's also important to be supportive and kind of like recognize other players and be engaged in their game a little bit as well. So visualization, a little bit of field work, a lot of course practice, and a lot of competitive practice at local leagues, and putting leagues is super fun as well. So that's kind of what I like to do. And then I guess I like to cross train a little bit sometimes. I don't like to just play disc golf. I've got a little balance board that I like to just to work on, hip movements and core stability and stuff like that. And so I just try to keep my creativity. I think the mental part of it is super huge, especially since I've been playing for about 10 years. The changes that I'm making in my form anymore aren't huge. I'm not making these big strides in distance or these big strides in my putting form. I think my sidearm definitely has a way to go, but at this point, the main growth is here and is here. So that visualization and that competitive practice is all training my mind and kind of, my heart, preparing myself for those intense, moments where those putts and those throws matter so much. I think that answers the question.
Yeah, it answers like 5 more questions that we probably had lined up as well. So it's perfect.
I'm not bad at talking.
No, and it's great because everyone always dogs, especially on Matt. I'm gonna call Matt out just for fun right now, but everyone always dogs on Matt, just kind of like taking over interviews and maybe talking too much. People are joking that Matt's like punching the air right now. Anyways, all in good fun. But no, when we have a guest who can just kind of take our question, but then really elaborate on it, it's really nice when you're not battling with the yes or no kind of questions. I could ask you, hey, what's going on? You'd say yes, but you would also give me 10 more sentences, which in our lives makes it a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable for the people watching the show right now.
Well,
I guess kind of one more just question that I had after this big win. This is probably something that was on your list of goals for the year. What other goals do you have going into the 2023 season?
Man, I didn't think I would hit this goal this soon, just to be honest with you. I was trying to keep it, reasonable, realistic. I'd love a top 10 finish, and I was able to accomplish that. And then I'm like, oh, I would love a top 5 finish, or, like a top card finish at the end of the rounds, you know what I mean? And so I think those are going to continue to be my goals in kind of and kind of a play for par, and the birdies will come, play for top 10, play for top 5, and put myself in position. And when it's my day, I struggle, because I think I want to say it was James Conrad who said the quote where it's like, I'm just going to keep putting myself out there and keep trying to put myself in position, and one day it's going to be my day. And when it's your day, you know when it's your day, when you can't do anything wrong, you hit a tree and it kicks you closer to the basket. And there's just an X factor in disc golf where sometimes it's kind of just your magic moment. So I think the goals kind of stay the same. I'm just going to hope for solid top 10 finishes, hope to continue my cashing streak.
There you go.
And then hope to continue to just play some solid golf and put myself in that position to, take positions if I can. And then if not, just try and play some clean golf and hopefully live up to this whole bogey-free circle 2 putting reputation I have earned so far.
There you go.
So you didn't know because you're not looking at the chat right now, but we do have a live chat. We have a good number of people in there live right now as well. Paige Pierce joined the chat. Shout out to Paige. And she said, sick win, those putts were fire. So there you go, from Paige Pierce herself.
That's an honor coming from a fire putter herself.
Yes, a 5-time world champion. So there you go. They're looking up to what you've accomplished. Great job. So tell us about, I guess, cats. How do they help you? Cats. You're finding stray cats. The first time you went to Texas.
Oh, felines.
Something.
Yeah.
Feline. Yeah, actually.
Felines. Let's
Okay.
go.
I was like,
I'll use
I was like,
felines.
merch?
Yeah, no,
Alan?
I'll use
What
the
cats
musical?
are you talking about?
I'll use
Are
the
we
word
talking about the musical?
felines. From now on, when I'm talking about a cat, it will be feline. So tell us about these fine felines you found. So you found one in Texas the first time you ever went and you adopted it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's funny that it's gotten around because I haven't really promoted about it. I know Erica posted about it on her timeline, Erica Stinchcomb, a little bit. I was with her, and bless my heart, I was with a photographer named Kevin. I can't remember his last name. Super cool guy.
Hoover.
But I was with him and Erica Stinchcomb, and we were on hole 15 of the Beast, and we had thrown our drives out. And then we're all standing at our drives, looking at the basket, going to like throw our approaches, and then we all just kind of like, is that a cat down on the green right now? And then Erica was funny, and she's like, well, I guess I'm not throwing my approach now. Because you're not gonna throw approach towards a cat. That's just
No.
if there's a bad omen, that is one. And so we just pick up our lives and we walk towards the basket, and there's just this cute little dude just walking around, and he comes up to us all like cheery, tail up, trotting at us, rubbing up against our legs, and we're like our hearts are literally melting. Like both Erica and I are like all the squeaky like girl noises you could imagine coming from me were coming from me. And he just turned out to be the coolest freaking cat. So he followed us through 7 holes. We didn't have to carry him. I mean, we kind of coaxed him a little bit and like, oh, come here, come on, we gotta go. But like, he literally just followed us through 7 holes. And so the whole time, Erica and her like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, who gets to take him? And I guess I just kind of like grabbed him and was like, if nobody else wants this cat, I will take this cat. I will gladly take this cat. Like, for sure. He was so nice. Like, you could just pick him up and he was fine with it. We put him in a bag and he was like, yeah, I don't really want to be in a bag. He would just like be right at your ankles as you were making a putt. And he's just so cool. I could go on about how cool this cat is. He was litter trained. Didn't have to deal with that. I just put some litter in a box and then set it in front of him, and he was like, cool, thanks, got this. I was camping at the time, so I just kind of took him back to my campsite, and we had a little enclosed, I guess you could call it a cabin, but it had like mesh walls. And so I just brought him in and was like, all right, here you go, man. This is the place where you're chilling now. And he just kind of walked the border of the cabin and then sat down. Totally fine. He like when I drove him home to my campsite from the course, he literally fell asleep face first on a bag of chips. Just in the back of my Prius while we're driving, he's just like, this is a cool spot. I'm gonna clean myself a little bit and take a nap. You guys seem cool. This is all right. And so I got a harness for him at Walmart. I got a leash for him, and I've got a little cat backpack coming on Amazon. And yeah, so I guess this is the official introduction. His name is Waco Bagul. He has 2 names.
Nice.
And he is going to be my tour buddy basically for the rest of the season.
That insight came from Melody, by the way. I have to give her credit. She said, ask about the cat. No, the feline. Sorry, ask about the feline.
Feline, yeah.
As we get ready to close this one out, it's been spectacular. Has anybody ever said you are a free spirit as a personality?
Yeah, I kind of fit that box. You know, the free spirit, the hippie, the all of the above. I kind of fit that box. I'm a little nature child for sure.
Yeah, and it's hard for a free spirit to say they fit that box because they're like, I don't actually fit the box, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't think I fit the box, but from I can put myself in another person's perspective and see you fit, you check the boxes.
The live chat is absolutely adoring the fact that you're on the show tonight giving us all this insight. As you get ready to close it out, we wanted to know a little bit more about you and your tour. Who would you say are the people that you hang out with the most on tour? If you're gonna hang out and it's with people, you mentioned a few, but what are some of these names?
I mean, Hannah, I always like to hook up with her and play practice rounds together. We're Northwest buddies, and so I think when I finally came on tour, she was like, somebody from home that I know that I can like hang out with. And so she's one of the first people I like to play with. I mean, Own is just awesome if I can play around with her. That's like super fun, just like practice rounds and stuff like that. Raven is awesome. If I can hang out with her, she's awesome. Haley King, if I can play a practice round with her or hang out with her, she's probably, I don't want to hurt Melody's feelings because she's obviously my favorite FPL player, but Haley King is definitely like right there with one of my favorite FPO players, not only like as a person, but she's just got a fierce game and I love to watch her play.
Absolutely. So one other question here to help people get to know you a little better. We know you're all in on disc golf and you have been for a while, but when it's not felines and it's not disc golf, what are the other hobbies or sports or games that you're interested in? Maybe it's something that something you enjoy doing when you're not disc golfing.
I actually think it's super important to have other things that like you can kind of express yourself, like mentally and intellectually and physically, because disc golf is so comparable to life that if you just kind of have this one track mind, you're kind of going to stay on that one track. So I like to practice other games and other sports and other things because I think you can learn so many valuable things in other aspects of life that are incredibly applicable to disc golf. So one thing is my boyfriend got me, well, I always liked chess, but my boyfriend really got into chess. My boyfriend Sterling, I love you, just a shout out. But he really got into chess. So I've been playing chess with him kind of in the off time. And that's been super fun, just mentally engaging and challenging because I kind of sucked at it at first. So that was really cool for me to like practice with frustration and how you respond to frustration. And immediately that applies to disc golf totally. And then I've been slacking on my slacking, but I love to slackline. If you've ever heard of it, it's like freaking love that. I've been an avid longboarder. I definitely not so much anymore just because I've been so busy, but avid longboarder, absolutely love that. I mean, I love, my boyfriend and I will do like Qigong together. It's almost kind of like Tai Chi, but it's a little bit less like combat oriented and a little bit more like flow and energy oriented. So that's something that's really good. And practicing finding a place of calm within yourself, which is also incredibly applicable to disc golf. Even slackline is applicable to disc golf with just core strength, focus, and maneuverability, and be able to kind of like move on the fly. And I mean, I love hiking. I mean, I'm a disc golfer, obviously. I love going for walks out in the woods and stuff like that. But yeah, chess, slacklining, longboarding. I like playing catch too. Latitude 64 has an awesome disc. It's called the Beetle. If you haven't like thrown it, they're amazing. Like 145 gram, and they literally go so far. You can like stand still putt them, and they'll go like 200 feet. So that's like super fun to just go play catch with. Super awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. I played catch a little bit too much, and I actually, like, during the off season I was playing so much catch I actually kind of hurt my elbow a little bit, so I was like, oh, you gotta chill out on that a little bit.
Yeah, the off season is a thing now that really matters, and doing too much or doing too little, I guess, is something that you have to consider nowadays. I am, again, had we not lined up Paul and Dylan, they're both in the green room. Had they not been in the green room and we didn't line this up and pre-schedule it, we would have ran with this one for a while. There's so much more we want to know. Are you cool if we hit you up again sometime here in the near future and have you back on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna be back home in Idaho, Washington for the next, like, I'll be back I think on Thursday. I've got a really long drive home, and then I'll be home for like 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll be pretty available then. And yeah, like I would be happy to. I've definitely let you guys scratch the surface, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot more that I could share just in regards to my disc golf career and stuff like that. So I would be happy to come back on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think a majority of the people in our chat would absolutely love for that to happen. That's our whole chat has been just full of fans of yours now. Before we do let you go, though, where can your new fans help support you?
So I've got a really sweet West SAI Wu-Tang disc that is available on the Dynamic Disc website. And then you can also find my Samurai Texas State Champion disc on the Dynamic Disc website. And super huge, Latitude 64 decided to release my Texas State Champion disc overseas in Europe, which is so incredibly huge. So yeah, you can catch it on the West Side website, you can catch it on the Dynamic website and the Latitude 64 website. And I am so incredibly grateful for any support that I get. You are helping make these dreams come true for me.
So cool.
Perfect.
So cool. Yeah. So the chat loves you. We're going to have you back on for sure. We'll line you up and we'll talk about more. There's so many more things that I wanted to dig into. So we appreciate your time tonight. I was just a scratch of the surface, as you mentioned, and we look forward to talking to you again here in the near future. So thanks a lot, Sai.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. Take
All
care.
right.
Until next
Have
time.
a good one.
Yeah.
Take
Awesome.
care.
Have a good one. All right, Nick, we got, I don't know how to say it. I'll just say it. 2 heavy hitters, strong throwers. I don't know the right word for
I
this.
feel like neither of them are really heavy hitters, but strong throwers.
Hold on. We're going to do something
Hold
really
on.
special here. Sai is in our green room and we just heard her. And nobody else heard you, Sai, but we heard you. And she said,
Do we have Sai still?
yes,
There
we
go.
have an
Okay.
opportunity to do something for Sai. We're bringing it back in.
Yes.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
you guys are
and
awesome.
there is a way to support you, and it has to do
Yes,
with a tour
absolutely.
series disc, right?
So I have an awesome Tournament X bear coming out, and I worked with the designers on West Side, and I put together a super sweet like Lotus Sai logo, and the release of that disc is going to be April 13th, and I'm really excited. This logo turned out super duper cool, and I'm super stoked about it, and I hope that everybody is just as excited about it as I am.
There you go. I saw the artwork for it. Incredible. And our chat is happy. They said encore. So they're glad you're back. That green room helped us out and helped you out. We hope everyone goes out and supports you. That's why I was definitely bringing you back in when we heard that. Glad you got that out there. So again, Sai, thank you very much. We look forward to the next time we talk.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right.
See you
Peace out.
later.
Okay. So
Well, here I am trying to, dog on my
I know.
friends. I was trying to make a joke saying I don't think either of them are really heavy hitters, but they're both great throwers in their respected sports. And Anyways, it's not as funny now, and it probably wasn't that funny to begin with.
But did you hear Sai in your ear when you were saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I fumbled my words. I was just like, whoa.
It was tough to talk for a minute. Okay, let's just do it. Bring him in. Welcome to the show, Dylan Cease, Paul McBeth. Boom, just like that. Welcome to the show, guys. Now, we did not plan this out like how we would let each of you talk, so you get to manage that. But no, we have to manage it. We have to manage it. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing well. I actually went out and played some disc golf today, and that was a lot of fun. So it's been an enjoyable day so far.
Do you usually get in a round of disc golf most days?
Not necessarily when I'm traveling. So like I drove into town this morning, so it was only about a 3-hour drive. So, but yeah, I also did some other stuff, and I won't spoil that yet. But,
yeah. Okay. So Dylan, you're also here for our listeners. Dylan Cease sitting right next. Well, in our I guess our show layout, sitting next to Paul. But Dylan, welcome to the show, man. This is a true pleasure again to have you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I told you guys we're gonna have to do this soon, and thankfully it happened. There were some times where it's kind of looking shady, so I'm sure we'll get into it. But it's good to be back. I agree with Nick. We are heavy hitters. That's all I heard him say before you.
I said you guys were good throwers, not heavy hitters. But
I said heavy hitters, and then I didn't know what I was saying. I said they both throw, and Dylan specifically, you try not to let people hit. So I don't know.
True.
That's true.
So you mentioned. I mean, we're gonna get into the deep portions of something here. I don't know what it is yet, but the announcement that came out, I think it was Paul's social media. I don't know if I saw a post specifically from Dylan, but from Paul. Give us that announcement, Paul, for those who haven't heard yet.
Yeah, so a few days ago, I announced on my Instagram in collaboration with Dylan that we purchased the Throw Down the Mountain, the Grand Canyon, the Canyon. It's got a bunch of names, but the course in Brooksville, Florida, that has been so legendary. But unfortunately, it's only been open, for the tournament, so 4 weeks out of the year, and we got thrown into that mix and ended up with a course at the end of the day.
Thrown into the mix. We do want to know how this kind of unfolded, but Nick, you had something.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, you kind of started talking about it, but yeah, how did this all unfold? The big announcement, purchasing the course, you guys went in on it together. How did this really unfold for everyone who didn't see your Instagram post?
Well, sure, I'll share the very beginning. So I heard about this course about 10 years ago or so, maybe a little longer, and it's had a bunch of iterations and layouts and stuff like that. So that's about when I've heard about it, the legend, and then I started playing tournaments here maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I would say, and everyone had always talked about if someone could just buy this and make it a permanent course, it'd be so incredible. So people had started rumors years ago, like, Paul, you should buy this. Paul, I heard you bought this, and I've heard it for years and years and years. And then I would say early February, I got a call from Mike Barnett that said the owner was looking into selling it, and she already had someone willing to buy it and put in an offer, and we should put an offer in within 48 hours. So I immediately called Dylan, and let's hear Dylan's side.
Yeah, Dylan. So he called you, then what?
Yeah, so it was full circle for me because I had just played the South Florida Open with him and his brother. And a bunch of guys I played with kept talking about that course and just how legendary it was and all that. So Paul called me and said, "Hey, do you want another course?" And my first reaction was obviously, yeah. So I'm like, "Yeah, what are the details?" He tells me about it. I go on UDisc. I see it's like 4.9 stars. And then I realize it's the course that all of those people had told me about. And so my first instinct was, yeah, I mean, 100% I want it. How are we going to do this? So he told me the price, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit, and I said, all right, how are we going to make this happen?
So it'd be impolite of me, but also wrong of me not to ask. Can you give us a price range or any? I mean, you said your mouth opened up.
Yeah, we're an open book here. So are you cool if we share? You're cool, right, Paul?
I don't care.
Yeah, so we paid 1.2 million for it.
Okay.
Big time.
So
Yeah.
$1.2 million towards a course. There's a lot of conversation that can go into now, is course collecting a thing, but 1.2 million. My immediate thought is, was this out of the desire to own the course or the opportunity to make something good, great, or just the long-term return on investment? Or was it all part of that? Like, what was the thought process here of buying it?
Yeah, I mean, I think all three of those things 100% go into it. For me, I mean, there had to be a certain financial aspect to it, to where, like, if it looked like we were just going to buy it and it was going to be in the red and, you know, be this big, like, you know how they say if you buy boats, you're basically just sinking money. If it was like that, it probably would have been harder to invest in for me, just because, you know, I obviously, with my career, I'm you know, hopefully going to be able to have a lot of capital and money, but you know, I'm still kind of in the early stages of it. So it had to financially make sense and look like something that could potentially at least like break even. But other than that, I mean, just the excitement of being able to build something really cool and team up with Paul was more than enough for me. So I was willing to basically stretch anything and stretch our imaginations and see if we could come to something. But it just felt like one of those things where the disc golf community seems to be so supportive of, you know, new things and cool things like this, that you know, the financial aspect, really, at the end of the day, I felt really comfortable that people were going to support it and come play. So you know, it was just funny how it timed up, you know, right after we announced Cactus Rock, and we're working on that. So you know, I had to get a little bit uncomfortable and take a risk financially, but you know, at the end of the day, you got to take a risk to go do cool things in life, and I couldn't be more excited about this one.
Now, and I don't know how much you can share with it, but do you have any kind of future goals, and what was realistically the main idea, besides for potentially opening up the course to be played more often, not just for the 1 month out of the year? Are there any other bigger goals for this property?
Absolutely. If Paul, if you want to take over on.
Sure. Yeah, we definitely want to get it up and running and make it, you know, a course that is open throughout the year. Because right now, like I said, it's only 4 weeks out of the year, and it's pretty much tournament play only. So everyone has to, if they want to play the course, they got a very slim window there. So we want to open it up, and we want to host bigger and better tournaments. And another thing with the property is, so that's what I went out and did today, is I went out and walked it with Mike Barnett, and we got to see what the entire property looks like, because they only get about a week to set up the course and trim everything and all that. So like they're doing their most with the bare minimum amount of time. So they haven't pushed the limits of this property. So I want to go out there and see what we can really do and what kind of event we can really host out there with a real championship course and a like a, you know, one of the best courses in the world, and if not, you know, just like the property there is so unique. I kind of showed Dylan a little bit of it today, but it's just, I feel like they're just barely scratching the surface what they have there now with their course design and the event. So yeah, so I'm getting a little lost with it. But,
how many?
it's,
yeah, no, I hear you. So let me get in a little bit deeper there. Acreage, just straight up, what's the acreage of that property you bought?
60.
60.
Yeah.
And are they using currently? Do you know how much is being used for the course currently?
I don't know the amount of acres, but they don't use. There's a lot of spots that they don't use. When I walked it today, there's a lot of pieces of the property that I'd never seen before, and I was telling Dylan, I was like, dude, we can do this here, we can do this there. We can make a new hole here, so we can combine this hole and make this a par 5 instead of a par 3, et cetera, et cetera. So after just walking it, I could see this course being like a par 69 or 70 compared to what it is now. I think it's a 66. So there's definitely some more length that can be added, some more incredible tee shots, because if you've seen coverage or seen anything about it, it's called the Canyon for a reason. You know, you got some huge drops and some just elevation change that's not seen in many other places.
Dylan,
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Evan.
So I've seen this course on coverage. I've never been there. It seems like an awesome course, but what else does it have as far as amenities that we don't get to see on camera? Is there a parking lot? Is it close to a city? What kind of details can you share to kind of paint the picture?
Yeah, so right now it technically has a parking lot, but it's not gravelled. It's kind of just packed in dirt. So if it rains, it can get a little messy. But as far as the parking lot, there is a good sized parking lot, but they do, when they have the pro weekend and some of the bigger events, they will have an off-site parking lot. There is no pro shop or anything like that. They have a temporary one because they are only here, 4 weeks out of the year. So they set up some tents, sell outside. All the baskets are temporary. But our goal when we open it, our goal is to open it this fall. We want to have a pro shop of some sort. Could be a temporary one, could be a permanent one. We'll see. That's just another financial investment. So we'll see where we are at that point. But we want to put tee pads, baskets, all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean that's it for amenities right now. Good sized parking lot and a future pro shop.
Okay. I saw a question come in earlier, and I think it's intriguing to actually ask for both of you because Dylan, you are the opening day pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. I think it's a week from today. Is that correct?
2 days from today.
Whoa!
Oh, 2 days from
2 days. What are you doing on our show?
It's on Thursday, so we got a couple days.
Okay.
All right, a couple of days. He's like, tomorrow, tonight.
Who are you facing?
Houston Astros.
Awesome.
Ooh, there you go.
Congratulations on that honor, by the way. That's pretty cool, man.
Thank you.
I follow disc golf more than baseball, but I know what you're doing is pretty special. And when I'm out to eat and I see Dylan Cease come on the TV, I talk to my family and say, hey, that guy's a disc golfer.
He's one of us. He's one of us.
That's awesome. But the question comes for both of you is you have other things going on, right? So you have careers. You have things that you're focused on that are really important. Paul, with your career of disc golf and playing and trying to win and do the foundation, not foundation, like foundation. What's the difference between
The
your
Paul
McBeth Foundation? Yeah. You're doing the Paul McBeth Foundation, and you got stuff that you're managing for yourself. And then Dylan, you've got obviously your career with baseball. How is something like this? Does it have the opportunity to detract from what you're doing in your careers, or are you putting somebody in place to help manage this process, or this, I guess this course that you just purchased?
Yeah, we're taking applications for sure.
Perfect. Perfect.
But go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, from my point of view, once my season gets started, it's not really going to be something I'm super. I mean, I'll focus on it from time to time, and as a starting pitcher, I do have times, on the 4 days that I'm not starting in my rotation to kind of bear down and think about things and do stuff. But for me, I'm not really worried about it because for one, I like I said, I feel like the community's, kind of be there to help support it. But, Paul's obviously got a lot of connections and, manpower in the game. I'm happy with like my business group that I work with that helps me out. So, anything from that point of view, they really help me with. So, it's not something I'm worried about. And it's not something I would let take away from my game. If there's something happening there that's a negative, then, for me, I know this is just sort of a passion project I'm working on, and it's not something that's like life or death. So I don't think it's going to be any issue. It's more just something that's going to be fun that I get to, build and put my time and energy into.
Yeah, I think we all need little side project, fun, passion things. You have to, right? It can't be all work.
Exactly.
Paul, similar for you? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely similar. It could get in the way if I, don't keep my priorities straight. But I think we're in a good situation. Mike Barnett is the connection there that helped us get the property in the first place and make that connection with Suzanne, who was the former owner. And I think any time we have questions or anything, Mike's the one that we can go to because of that relationship we have. He uses this property. He knows it a lot better than, pretty much anyone, probably better than the owner themselves. But yeah, it is taking on a lot, but I mean, I guess we own it now, so we can do it on our schedule and our time. If we don't find help, or the right people that we want in time, but I think we do both have a strong team behind us that can help push this along and make things happen. And yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see where it goes. So I don't know. I don't look at the potential negatives, I guess I should say. I just always want to keep moving forward and making things happen.
And
Absolutely.
you've played the course for years and years at this point. It's been an incredible tournament, very fun to watch. You've won it a few times. You actually today you had posted, I think it was on Twitter, that you actually saw the champ out there today. Pretty cool. Ken Climo out on this course. You said he shot 5 down. Now I have no idea if that's good or bad, but realistically, with all the courses that you've played, especially in the U.S., with what you see yourself doing with this property, how do you think it rates with, say, other tour courses that are out there right now?
So people always ask me, like, what's your favorite course? And I always say Maple Hill. But this one is definitely pushing it, especially if it becomes a permanent course, because it's hard to say a temporary course like this without baskets in the ground can be your favorite course. But I think if we can push this to its limits, it can definitely be up there at that kind of scale. Because of the elevation change, it doesn't have as much water as Maple Hill. It does have a little bit, but it's just so unique, and I can't wait for people to see that. It's definitely unique for Florida, like it's like one of a kind in Florida, but I'm like saying like unique for anything in the U.S. So yeah, it'll definitely.
It's probably I think there's one other course that's probably going to be neck and neck. It's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's called
There you go.
Well, so that's actually funny because I was telling Dylan when I first saw the land in Tuscaloosa, I was saying like it reminds me a lot of like W.R. Jackson and this course in Florida called Throw It on the Mountain, and that was before this course is even on the table.
Yep.
So it was pretty funny that it gave me those kind of vibes and that kind of similarity.
For those of our listeners who are driving along wondering why we're snickering in the background, Dylan just had a feline jump up on his back. That's awesome. So we could go on and on about this. So you had mentioned a little bit of a financial risk, and I know that doesn't mean like, hey, I'm going bankrupt or not. It means more in my mind that, hey, we're putting money out there, and to get this money back is a risk. So what would it take in your minds for this to not for the rewards to be greater than the risk? Like, what would it take? Is this long-term goal? Are you guys like, hey, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, like a pay to play to course, all that kind of stuff? Like, what's your thoughts in making it a win for you, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we want to generate some cash flow on it. Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
The cat's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we want to get it up and running and, people going through it and cash flowing. I think number one, if we just get it open to the public, that's going to be really satisfying. And like I said, if we're running in the red, it would be a hard pill to swallow, but I think if we do what we're planning on doing here, it would be hard not to at least break even. So, we have big ambitions, and I'll let Paul kind of talk into some of the ideas we have to sort of generate this cash flow and this revenue. But, we definitely want to, hopefully do pretty well in that area as well. Cause I mean, for me, at least, I want to continue to invest into disc golf. So, if this can kind of fund other projects, if this and Cactus Rock can cash flow well in other projects, I can keep doing cool stuff like this and, hopefully continue to grow it. And, so, okay. I mean, getting to this part is exciting for me, and it's all been a win so far. I haven't made anything in return yet, but I'm just really excited to brand and market and hopefully create really high quality products that people are excited about, and destination courses for sure is what I got in mind.
We've got more questions, but Paul, what is he talking about here? Bigger future goals. He keeps teeing you up, and I don't know if Paul's ready to talk. What do you mean, Paul?
Yeah. So I mean, it is going to be a pay to play course, which it currently is right now. You got the day rates and the parking rates that they have to do for the tournament. So we're not 100% set on what our day rates are going to be. We still got to put a lot of money into getting the parking lot and tee pads and baskets and all that fun stuff to make it a permanent course. But we do want to do like yearly memberships, and I think we're doing something that I don't know if anyone's done before as far as private courses, but we want to do a limited number of lifetime memberships to where people can buy these and have it essentially for life, and make it to where it can also be transferable if they want to pass it down to their kids, or if it's someone local here in the area and then they move away and they don't feel like they'll be coming back to this area. They can sell it or transfer it or whatever, but we want to do a limited number of that to where, we can kind of get back some of that investment, but put it back into doing more projects into this course. And because my biggest fear on this course and what I've seen growing up in California and just some of these high traffic courses is erosion. So we want to find a way that we can keep it looking really nice and not falling apart, and just keep it open for the public, for people to play as much as they can, as much as they want, and just but yeah, I think that's something that we're really looking forward to doing, and making it really special for people, not just so you can have a part of this course in some way.
With the lifetime memberships, we were thinking about doing a lifetime membership only tournament every year, and kind of doing like
club
yeah,
championships.
I almost said the new name for the course as well, but I for the cup for what the course is going to be branded as. So we're trying to add a bunch of incentives to those lifetime memberships, because that would really help. That would really help us get more capital to then invest back into it and get things going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening, but I kind of missed it in that moment. Did you say the name of the course? And you said you almost did.
No, I almost did.
It's not to be released yet. Is that correct?
Not yet. Yeah, okay. We're not quite yet, but we've got it, just not quite ready to release to the public.
Okay.
But you guys know it yourself. You're just waiting for the time.
Yes.
So we'll have to get you on another episode so you can talk about the name. This is perfect. Just keep coming out with stuff, and we'll keep hitting you guys up. No, this is awesome.
Just Mondays 7 p.m. are it's Dylan Cease's hour. You let him run, okay?
Exactly. No pitching on Monday nights. You got to rest up on Mondays, Paul. No tournaments, obviously, on Monday nights. So you're both it's the Paul and Dylan show, and what's going on in disc golf, and what have they bought this time?
This is
disc golf monopoly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, disc golf monopoly. Cactus Rock. I mean, what's Boardwalk and what's Park Place? You got to figure it out. So,
hey, that's a good question that I have. I mean, they say you guys have 3 properties between the 2 of you now, right? With Virginia, Florida, and Alabama.
Actually, Nick Carl has the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted you to say that so bad, Paul. We didn't even talk, but you just said it. So Nick bought the property in Virginia. Everybody.
His
our company.
Co-owners.
Yes.
Yeah, his company.
Our company bought the property.
Well, that answers it easily. I'll keep it between the 2 properties in Florida and Alabama. Is it you love all your kids equally, or is there one that will be kind of a premier one that you might try to have bigger events or pro tour stop, or just bigger goals overall?
For me,
I mean, Dylan owns 2 courses here.
Yeah, so let's go to Dylan. Then.
We were talking. I might be the only private citizen in the country that owns 2 courses, so I might have to call the Guinness World Records and get me in there.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, for me, I'm just going to push the envelope. Why am I off camera? There we go. All right. I'm just going to push the envelope as far as I can possibly push it, and be as ambitious with it as much as I possibly can. I love Cactus Rock because it was really special going through the whole process of just getting raw land and having to do everything, the LLCs, the lawyers, the teaming up with my partner with his hands, mapping out the course with Paul, having the camera crew there, seeing it continue to be developed and getting new pictures every day of how the fairways are looking and all the cool stuff that's going on. So that one's really special to me, and I feel like that's always going to have that kind of special place in my heart. With our new course, with our Florida course, we'll call it. It's already has a proven track record of being a legendary course. And I think that one. I think at least from a financial standpoint, that one seems to be more of the certain thing. As much as you can say that, but obviously nothing is certain. And I think that one, being that it has more notoriety, I think that will probably be a little easier to get things going with. But yeah, for me, like I said, I'm going to go all out with them as much as I possibly can, and I hope the disc golf community kind of helps out and comes and plays them and buys T-shirts and merch and all that, so we can keep expanding and doing really cool things.
Absolutely.
We kind of heard from Paul talking about the Florida course and how hopefully later on this year, I think he was saying in the fall time is when they kind of want to reopen it to the public. Do you have a timeline over at Cactus Rock on when you want to open it, when you want to potentially host the first tournament at it, stuff like that?
Yeah, we're still debating that right now. I think we could even have people playing it this summer if we really wanted to, but we're all kind of in agreement that we want to make sure it's all buttoned up and polished. So there's nothing unfinished about it. I think we could potentially do something at the end of this year, but for sure by spring next year we'll be up and running. And we're still debating how we want to open it, if we want to do a tournament or just a day or whatever. But we're not really in a big rush with that. And I still gotta kind of figure out how I'm gonna get the pro shop in there. I'm hoping that we do well with our lifetime memberships and some other stuff with the Florida course that can kind of pay for both of them. Mm-hmm. We've even kind of talked about selling like a 20% stake in the Florida course, which would be kind of done like a real estate thing, and seeing if anyone was interested in kind of partnering up in that way. But there's a lot of stuff that's still kind of in the air right now. And, I know that either way we're going to be good. It's just, we kind of got to see how everything plays out. And, but I think Paul and I are in agreement that we're going to be extremely ambitious.
No, definitely.
Yep, I agree. And one thing too, I guess we were talking about it earlier, about how we actually acquired the property. I was contacted by Mike Barnett like early February, and Dylan and I ended up owning it by I think March 6th. Was that the closing date? Yeah, so it was like incredibly fast because they were going to sell it to some developers, and we didn't want to miss that opportunity. So, yeah, that's like we're kind of looking at a lot of opportunities with the property as well. And so it's still going. But yeah, sorry, I feel like I didn't finish that story earlier.
No,
and how fast things went.
Yeah,
we had to brainstorm and come up with a lot of stuff on the fly. So
yeah,
that's why we're still mapping it all out.
Yeah, so I'm finding it interesting. I mean, you have to have the money, obviously, the capital to do this, but what was it that motivated you? Was it like a dream you didn't know you had, Paul? I know you said people have talked about it for a while, like, hey, can we make this permanent? But like for you specifically, and then I know Dylan, you got brought into this, but like, what was it that when you heard it, you're like, I mean, I'm just going to give you an example. There's a course 30 minutes north of Maple Hill that's on a private property. It's probably, I don't know, 20 acres. It's not like world renowned, but he's selling his property, and everyone up here is like, oh, like you should buy it. Everyone's thinking about it, and like, it sounds great, but the people that actually buy it, they were able to, and they probably had that full inspiration to do it. Like, what was it that fully motivated you to do this? Because it sounds great, but then you're like, let's do it. Yes. Like, what was it?
Yeah.
Well, send me the numbers on that one when we get off this.
800,000 for a house and a course.
Yeah, it's a house and a course.
30 minutes north of Maple Hill, man. Then, yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I talked to Simon's told me a lot of people have reached out to him about that course.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it could be a Simon course. He wanted like eclectic, smaller, fun ace. Anyways, all right. Yeah. Sorry. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, so this course, like I said, I've heard about it for a decade, and all the different people that had designed tournaments there, ran tournaments there, all the way back to Greg Hosfeld, who I think is the one that made this originally become a course and found it. And then I think some other people, and now it's Mike Barnett that runs the tournament out there. but just knowing how great of a piece of property this is for so many years. The Pro Tour made a stop back when I think they were called test events. I don't recall if that's what they were called.
That's right. I think so.
But it was a test event, and it would have definitely been on the Pro Tour, but because it was a temporary course and they didn't own it, and the people that did own it, they weren't going to put concrete pads in or turf or tee pads in general. Right now, the property is just carpet and temporary baskets. So just knowing how much people love it out here in Florida, especially, it just is like, it's just incredible to see how everyone talks about it. So, sorry, this chair is sliding on me. But it's just incredible to hear how much everyone loves it, and to think of the possibility that it was going to be gone just like that. It was just very unsettling. So I don't know. I couldn't let it go by, and I know Dylan was talking about owning courses for a long time, and yeah. So it was just it was a lot, but I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured it would have to be. It's just in your mind, it was such a great course, it would be hard to see it go. And again, that's how we feel at a small level. Well, big level for us up here with this local course too. It's kind of like, man, you don't want to see it go. But in your opinion, that course, it sounded like to me, you said potential to be Maple Hill in your mind. And for you, it has that potential. And so do you envision this possibly one day being a Pro Tour stop? I mean, we're way out. I get it, but it has a history. Do you see it ever being that?
I definitely think so. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I don't think we have a Pro Tour stop in Florida right now. They had the silver event last year.
Yeah, the wraparound.
Yeah, over in Jacksonville. But I don't know if there's ever been an elite series here. There used to be the championship used to be in Jacksonville as well. But I guess it's a golf course. I think this could be one of the true disc golf courses on the Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. And whatever, big events, throw down mountains in A tier right now, but there's not many true disc golf courses around there that we play on tour anymore.
We saw Tallahassee and Jacksonville being New World as the only silver stops in Florida, and then the two Pro Tour championship years. There's not been a standard elite event in Florida. Okay.
Yeah. So far, pretty much Georgia and Alabama up there.
Yeah. Do you know off the top of your head what's the the distance between Tuscaloosa's course and the Florida course?
I think 8 hours, 6 or 8 hours.
Wow. That's
not too far.
That's not too far.
That's not bad at all.
And from what I've heard too,
back-to-back situation, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We can stop in Tallahassee on the way up too. Why not?
Yep.
The halfway point. And what I've heard too is, I think someone said online, this is 2 hours closer to Waco than Vegas. Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Nice. Wow. All right. See you later, Vegas. Started up in Florida, and there we go.
Oh man. I know we've already kind of mentioned it a few times, but the chat just keeps going on. It's funny, Dylan and Paul. Now everyone's like, there's a course out here that someone needs to buy. There's a course here. Like you can be the course rescuers at this point. I mean, maybe there's something to be had
of disc golf. Just real estate moguls.
Yeah, if the community's willing to get behind us, we can do an unlimited amount of things.
It's true.
Think about it. If it doesn't take more than a couple thousand people paying $20, $10 to play around, you start getting revenue, and then you can start doing, really cool stuff. So if we got to be the conduits to, got to be the vessels to make that happen, that would be very, very enjoyable for me.
Very cool. Very cool. So what did we miss talking about that you guys are like, dude, how did the Nick and Matt show forget asking us this? Anything? No.
Should we talk more? I'll ask Paul this. Should we talk more about the lifetime memberships and kind of what we want to do with that, or should we kind of leave that until we have more details mapped out?
Oh,
Paul's muted.
That's
Paul,
weird.
did you just get a call?
You must have just cussed me out.
Yeah.
Paul probably just got a call, which means
Paul.
that he's going to be muted in audio. So leave and then come back.
It's possible. I don't know. If he
I
can
guess
hear
it's
us.
up to me then.
Can you hear us, Paul?
Yeah, imagine he's just like, oh my God, Dylan, what are you saying?
If it's not working for Paul, no. So Paul, actually close your browser, like get out of it, stop it, close it, come back into the same link. It should work. So hey, it sounds like
we'll talk about Cactus Rock until he comes back.
I was just about to say though, Dylan,
Yes.
it seems like you're the one who gets to make the decision now if you talk. No.
So we'll pivot to Cactus
Do
Rock.
it.
We've made the parking lot so unbelievably big right now that I'm blown away that the guys I'm partnering up with were able to do it. I mean, this thing is like, it looks like a Walmart parking lot. So
Wow.
yeah, we got that, and then Paul and Avery and all of them made some changes that they're gonna make me wait to see, but I kind of have a little bit of an idea of what kind of went on. So the most of the fairways are cleared enough to where like it's very playable right now. Obviously, there's still some work to be done and some bridges and all that to be built, but the progress that's been made out there is wild. I mean, you can tell that they've been there, basically sunrise to sunset, getting that thing put in. So I'm just excited to get it out there. I really feel like it's going to be one of the most unique courses. And I haven't been to all of them in the country, obviously, but I try to go on UDisc and do as much research as I can. And I mean, I really feel like this is shaping up to be really incredible.
Now, I'm assuming you don't have baskets in it yet, correct?
No, but we will definitely get those quick.
Okay, once you get those, you'll have to a little Nick and Macho extravaganza down to Tuscaloosa.
Absolutely.
So
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We'll do that.
Dylan, you got a whole landscaping team that you're working with, and obviously there's a lot to landscaping. There's cutting down trees and all the other plants and all that. Are they kind of like, are we going to be forming some of the land? Are we going to make like some rock wall type things? Like I think Maple Hill Hole 9 is what comes to my mind. Are there things in the works like that, or is that a couple years down the road?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's been mostly just clearing and moving stuff around, but like even on a couple of holes, I know that they've been, taking soil from one side and building up the other side, and kind of working on drainage and all the little things that you wouldn't think about. But guys who have experience on land and kind of know how things work, they're able to do some stuff and have some visions that I personally wouldn't know anything about. So they keep me pretty informed, and they've been moving things around for sure. So we're not going to spare any expense with it, and as long as things go smoothly and how I think so, I think we're gonna be able to keep just investing into it and continue to make it top notch and something that people want to come visit.
Okay. Hannah McBeth in the chat. She says that Nick Carl, get in line. The party is going to be down at Cactus Rock first, the party podcast. So I think what we'll do, and maybe this isn't fair, Nick, it'd be you and Christine versus me and Hannah versus Evan and intern Ben.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go, Ben.
Down.
And then I was just about to say Paul and Dylan can do something, but that's too much. So you guys,
Paul and Dylan can be on a team.
Wait, individuals, worst shot.
Super cool chat says the ceasefire open.
Oh,
whoa!
Ceasefire. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Hey.
You liking what you're hearing?
So we had lost.
Oh no, that's interesting.
We had lost Paul for a few minutes. Paul, you are back now. Dylan and asked you if you guys wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the lifetime membership and goals that you had in mind doing with that. And yeah, we'll let you take it away.
Sure. Like we want to, I don't know, we just want that to be a really cool thing with the property and just, I forget, I don't know what I left out, what I may have left out. But no, it's, I don't know. I think it's really unique, something that hasn't happened in disc golf, but kind of just lets people, have a piece of the property in some way. And just, I guess it's kind of almost more like a collector's items too.
Mm-hmm.
And we do want to do a lot of fun packages with those, do like a welcome package, which is unique to each person. And also, like Dylan mentioned, a club championship would be really cool to where it's only those people that are invited to this event. You know, which would probably be an annual thing. And yeah, I just think we're gonna do a lot at that property. I think we're gonna do a lot at that property, and we just want those members to know that they're a part of it and feel like they're part of it, because whatever we do there isn't going to be possible without, you know, their help.
What in the world is the range on a lifetime membership? So like there was a local course around me, I think it was probably like, I feel like in the range of $1,000. I mean, but that's like a small startup local course. But you have something like Throw Down the Mountain or the Canyon, and my brain's going, dude, that could be anything from 20,000 plus to who knows what. Do you guys have a range in your mind?
A price?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 20,000 would be nice. No, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's still a disc golf course. So we do have a number for that, which would be 2,500, which,
hey,
I think for a lifetime is very, very nice.
I do too.
That's
you have a
10
limit
straight
on
years.
those, right?
That's 10
Yes,
straight
and
years
there's
of
no
playing at Maple Hill, and they might have even upped their price now. But I remember a Maple Hill yearly membership used to be $250.
$350
and
now.
if you're the $350 now.
Yep.
So
Wow.
But yeah, so
You're gonna have-
350. Say that again. I didn't hear that.
no, I was saying it used to be $350, or excuse me, it is $350 a year now. So after 10 years, I mean, that's how much you're spending. That $2,500 to $3,500. So
minus the
So
which
that's
you
their
get
price for a season.
Yep.
yeah.
I might be losing. Okay.
So
And what is their season? Sorry.
The only time they're officially closed is anytime where it actually snows now due to safety, and then from Thanksgiving to first week of January.
Yeah, Jan
Correct
1st.
me if I'm
yeah.
wrong.
So for a month from
So
Thanksgiving,
they take
to
about
the
a month
year.
and a half off.
Okay.
Well,
That's
do you
not bad
think?
at all.
Do you guys think Paul and I should make a bid on Maple Hill?
That'd be
I'm
crazy.
not in.
That would be
He
crazy.
not
goes, I'm not in.
You're with Simon on that one.
Yeah, the Dylan and Simon. Dylan's just going to be the silent partner, well, known partner in all these courses now.
That would
Yeah.
be
Silent
crazy.
unknown.
Hey,
I'd be
But,
curious
yeah,
what
it
that
is
would be
like-
valued.
You did say it will be limited. There will be a number, and we will never exceed that ever.
well,
Yeah, so if it's only like, let's just say it's only 20, you're going to have a line out the door waiting for it.
Yeah.
But if it's like 100 to 500 or something, I was curious if you had any plans of process, if there's way more people wanting to do that than expected, kind of how you'll handle those requests, I guess.
Yeah, and it's one of those things we don't know. We have a number. I don't know if you want to say, Dylan, but we have a number.
I'm
And-
putting it out there.
So we will have 500 available ever, with the, like I said, the opportunity that they are transferable, and we don't know that number yet or set price or anything like that. But yeah, so we will-
baby.
yeah,
Quick math tells me that pays for the property that you just did, right? So that's 1.2 million.
Yep.
The chat, by the way, it's a small percentage of people who are going to be interested, but there's a lot of people in the chat already saying they don't think 2,500 is enough. Some are saying that's very fair. They think it should be more. So my quick math
Yes.
is that you're going to do it and you're going to make your money back.
Well, do we think we could do more? Yeah, of course, but we want people to feel like they're a part of this, and that money is going to go right back into making this course as epic as it can be.
Mm.
And Cactus Rock.
What was that?
It's going to go on a Cactus Rock as well.
Yeah. Dylan's got 2 courses he needs to make look good. But yeah, I mean, I told Dylan I have some pretty wild visions for this property, and I went out with Mike Barnett today and was like, "This is what I want to do." He's like, "Yeah, I could see that." So, unfortunately, they're not all free to make happen.
Who's the ultimate decision maker? I know Mike, you're saying Mike Barnett, he's very familiar with the course. He's probably been the one that's been involved with it the most, but are you and Dylan the decision makers from here on out? I mean, you involve others, I'm sure, but I mean, are you the ones? You're the yes or no guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or no.
Or no. Yeah, but
Or
I mean,
no.
so if you're like, hey, this is what we're doing, I mean, that's
Right
awesome.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now,
Hannah
yes.
said
Yeah,
it's
interviews
her.
are coming in.
So
What was
sorry.
that, Nick?
I said sorry, Paul. Hannah says it is her. She says
Her?
me in the live chat, so
Who gets to
she
make
is
the
the
decision?
decision maker for you.
Oh. Okay.
So
Oh,
just Sorry to break it to you.
So it's Dylan and Hannah.
Dylan
Yes.
and Hannah. They are the owners of the course. She's the captain now.
Wow. This, by the way, tonight's episode, it's going to go down in the books with Sai and now Dylan and Paul on together. So, Paul, we'd be remiss, and we're not going to let both of you go yet, but I have a question, then we'll bring it back to Evan's ABCs, which is a fun little trivia game. I think we'll all... Paul, you can rip Evan if he's getting them wrong, but...
Oh, Paul got a call.
It's probably going to mute him again.
He's not interested. He left. There he is.
Oh, it's still there.
Am I still here?
You're still
I
there.
ordered food about 2 hours ago, and the lady apparently is lost now. So
Nice.
I ordered it well before the show started. So
All right.
Sheesh.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Paul, I just feel like we'd be remiss at some level not to ask you a little bit about your game. And if this was a baseball interview, I'm sure we'd ask Dylan a few questions like that. But after, I'm trying to remember which event it was. You can correct me, but you talked about your mental focus, maybe is what it was. And you talked about, you think you maybe discovered something in relation to that. What is it that you were talking about? And maybe what is it that you discovered, if you don't mind sharing?
I've really been looking at the end and finishing like the end of the tournament and like where I want to finish and what I want to do, which is obviously win, versus looking at the next step ahead of me. And it's been hard to focus because I'm, looking at it that way. And I had a long drive home from Austin to Jacksonville. So just a lot of time to think about it and figure it out and just kind of like, why are things different? And I know a lot of it comes from when COVID and disc golf, kind of stopped completely. And it was like the first time in my life that I didn't have something competitive for a long time. So I kind of lost touch with that and how to snap into, what we call the zone. Because I would play these tournaments and I would never feel mentally drained at the end of them like I used to. And I was like, why? What is it? And I was trying to discover what that zone is and what that mental focus is. And it's literally shutting your brain off and not thinking. And if you just sat here right now for the next 10 seconds and tried to not think about a single thought, now try to do that for 3 to 5 hours, it is so hard. So hard. So I just feel like I haven't been using that I guess skill and in the tournament. So because I would already have these shots and things like that predetermined, and I'm just like going back to thoughts I had the day before, thoughts instead of being in that moment and just throwing what's working and doing what I've trained myself to do and step up, see a shot and do that. I'm just falling back to what I did. So that's kind of really what it was.
That's interesting. And another time we have you on, we could dig into what it takes to do some of the self-discovery that you're doing. I think it's really intriguing.
Yeah. I'm a disappear for a couple seconds, figure out this food situation.
There you go.
Before I leave, but I will hop right back on.
All right.
Join back in the link after.
He gets the handicap, or he doesn't get the handicap. We get the handicap on him. We're going to start the trivia game, and we get an advantage if we get him right.
Well, I want to really quick before we jump into it. Dylan, you're about to pitch opening day on Thursday. We asked Paul a disc golf question. Let's get a little baseball interview going on. Dude, what does that feel? Is this the first year you're ever going to open up? Like, is this the first time ever opening day? Like, talk to us about it.
Yeah, it's a really big honor. It's my first time. It's usually it's given out by the team as an honor for sure. It's against the defending World Series champions. So, obviously a very strong team. So, really it's been on my mind the last couple of weeks when I'm going to the field and preparing. I'm in spring training now, but really I got my mind on that game. So right now I feel excited. I'm sure I'm going to be nervous on the day of, but right now I feel like I'm in a really good spot and I just feel excited for it.
Are you pitching against the guy who won the Cy Young but shouldn't have, because we all know it was you who should have won the Cy Young?
No, Verlander's on the Mets now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nick.
Dude, I don't know. Well, because wait, he was on the Astros last year, right?
He was on the Astros.
Okay,
yeah.
because that was the game that we all, the Discraft family, we all went to see Verlander versus Cease. And so, dude, that's how much I follow baseball. I follow Dylan Cease and every so often the Red Sox. That's about it now.
He will have to face, I believe, his former teammate and Jose Abreu, who signed for the Astros this offseason. So that might be a little bit tough. That dude can smash.
It's we call it the revenge tour. Anytime you face a guy who was on a previous team, they're looking for that revenge tour. Yeah. So
was it a trade or just free agency?
Free agency. He got his coin.
So that's even more reason to.
A lot of disc golf courses with that fella makes.
The coin, good old coin.
Someone did ask in the chat, what are your go-to 3 pitches?
Slider, curveball, fastball.
Boom.
Okay. All right, I got one more baseball question,
and then I do.
We okay, fair enough. We saw an epic World Baseball Classic this spring with I'm going to say maybe the most legendary at bat in all of baseball with Ohtani versus Trout for the final out.
Yeah.
2026. What are you thinking? Are you tempted? Any thoughts at all about playing for, I would assume, Team USA or possibly another team?
Yeah, it was honestly, it was hard to watch this one and not be a part of it. I'll be way farther along in my career. I think there's a pretty good chance that I'll be on that team. I was going to do this team, but I kind of got talked out of it by my counsel talked me out of it, but it would be really something really incredible to be a part of. I mean, sitting here and watching USA Japan, I felt like I was watching like a international soccer game. It felt like the whole world was watching it. So to potentially get the opportunity to do that would be really, really cool.
To drop a quick stat, they had, what I heard was 97% of TVs that were on in Japan, like actively watching TV, were watching this game. That is insane. Like that's how like Japan got so much behind their team. I mean, it's really cool for them to win, but of course I was rooting for Team USA.
I like Japanese baseball, man. I like what they're doing.
Yeah. Hey.
They're super fundamentally sound, and they're just they're breeding pitchers now these days. I mean, all those guys are good, man. And they're disciplined and fundamentally sound.
Well, Lars Nootbaar, I think I'm saying that right. He plays for the Cardinals. He's half Japanese. I don't think he grew up in Japan, but has the nationality of it, and he chose to play for them this year. The fandom got so far behind him that I think has 1 million Instagram followers after having 60,000 before the tournament. It's insane. Wow. He has a pepper shaker grinder celebration that he would do, and the whole Cardinals got behind him with it. All of Japan's doing it now. The Prime Minister of Japan is doing it to celebrate their win. It's insane. They're going crazy. Yeah. And hey, Nick, just to get you caught up on baseball, because apparently you don't follow, the Red Sox signed a Japanese player who's playing the World Baseball Classic. I'm also behind because I actually forget his name.
Daisuke Matsuzaka.
No, it's not Daisuke. Yoshima, thank you, Dylan. He's an outfielder, and he was hitting like, I think, over 400 in the tournament, which is really cool, and hoping he has a good season with the Sox, or the Red Sox, I should say.
Well, it's funny because when that game was going on, Hannah texted me right at the end, and she sent me, it was something like, we've completely disowned Mookie Betts now, or something like that. Apparently, he made a big error.
He grounded into a double play to get it to 2 outs. I think it was no outs, 1 on, and he grounded a double play, and then Mike Trout went up with 2 outs, I believe.
Gotcha. But that was an epic pitching hitter battle, and like I said, I don't follow baseball enough, but I know those two players are, and apparently I didn't know this, they play for the same team. Yeah,
Ohtani and Trout play for the same team. Ohtani he's from Japan. He was pitching for Team Japan. He is a pitcher and a batter.
Yeah, he's like the filthiest player.
Yeah, he's essentially Babe Ruth in today's game. There's actually a stat that I can't remember exactly what the criteria was, but it was pretty much the first person to like pitch in the 9th inning and bat in the game, or hit a home run, or do something special since Babe Ruth in any Major League Baseball baseball classic game.
I have to ask Dylan, because we just got off on baseball tangent here. Which is more enjoyable for you? Like, does it feel like work talking about disc golf, or is it like it's fun? It's still fun because you're a fan of the sport, I'm sure. Like, which is more enjoyable, the disc golf talk right now or the baseball talk? Uh-oh.
Something's going on.
Talk? I mean, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the disc golf talk, I think because it is...
is Paul outside? Yeah, he's outside.
Oh, he's outside. the disc golf is more fun in the sense that I'm getting to be really creative and sort of almost creative and be like an entrepreneur and kind of wear all these different hats that, when I'm an athlete and baseball player, I'm focused on one thing and doing one thing, where here I'm really getting to follow a passion and try to build something, which is really, really satisfying. And I just feel like it's such a unique opportunity with having a platform in baseball, having the capital that could potentially come along with baseball, my friendship with ball and discraft. I just feel like it feels like the world is my oyster in a sense with that, with all of those connections, and just getting to do it is fun, man. And I want to see disc golf go to the moon. So I plan on, like I said, I'm going to continue to brainstorm, be as ambitious as I can. And honestly, I'm shocked we're even sitting here today talking about courses, because it's something I've been talking about for like 2 years. Hey, how can I invest in disc golf? I want to get in disc golf. I can put my money into stocks and it's just numbers on a screen, or I can go build something that becomes a brand, becomes something that's known, and becomes something that excites people and gives people something to look forward to. So this has been extremely satisfying from my point of view, and I hope I keep it.
No, you're
We're running out of time.
Whose clock was
I
that?
don't know. What is the
What
clock is going off right
Well, I'm
now?
back inside, and apparently it's 9 o'clock. So
It's like some
This is like-
grandfather.
Come on, time violation, Dylan.
Yeah,
You
I said-
gotta stop now.
now,
Ball's
and you
back.
guys-
Speaking of timers, Dylan, people in the chat keep
You want me
hitting
to
us
stop?
up. They keep saying, "What do you think about this new pitch clock or something?"
Yeah, I wasn't a fan at first before seeing what it did, but I like it. Honestly, it kind of gives pitchers an advantage, and the games are going by in 2.5 hours now, as opposed to 3.5. So action's quicker. It seems like it's more crisp, and I think it's a mild advantage to pitchers, and I think it's getting the game to be a little bit more exciting.
Perfect. All right. For some reason, like your internet, it seems like did something funky. We're hearing you fine. Your video's a little funny. Paul's back. Let's do this quick. Evan, know your ABCs. It's a little trivia game here. Let's get it going.
All right. I don't know if you played in the ABCs, Dylan or Paul. Slightly different, but similar to stat or fiction. I'll say a question, and I'll give you 3 potential answers, A, B, or C. Multiple choice. You guess which one's correct. So let's start out with Calvin Heimberg, who just won out in Houston. It was his first PDGA win in the state of Texas. Outside of Florida, what U.S. state has Calvin Heimberg won the most PDGA events in? We got A, Arizona, B, Arkansas, or C, Georgia. What U.S. state outside of Florida has Calvin Heimberg won the most PDGA events in?
So
Arizona.
you want me to start?
Yeah.
C.
Go ahead. You can go. Nick
Georgia.
says C, Georgia. And then I'll say the answers again. It's A, Arizona, B, Arkansas, or C, Georgia.
B, Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm with intern Ben. B,
Trick
Arkansas.
question.
Dylan, what do you think?
Man, I'm gonna go with. I don't think it's Georgia, because I feel like I would have heard of that because I'm from Georgia, and I'm plugged into the scene. I play with Alden all the time at Woodstock in Sequoia, so I'll go Arkansas.
You just name drop.
Oh, I just played with Alden Harris.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go with A because no one else went with A. I know he's won the Memorial at least once, maybe twice.
Dang.
All right. I think we got, what was that? Two
2 B's.
or 3 for
3 for Arkansas,
one for Arizona,
one for
one
Georgia.
for Georgia. All right. The correct answer is B, Arkansas.
That was too
Arkansas. Yeah, it's not a
Got
trick
2 wins
question.
there?
He won 3. He won Jonesboro twice and Vintage Open, I believe.
My
is the
dude is
third.
from Florida. How does he not have 4 C tier wins in Georgia?
He only has 2 wins in Georgia. One is Hall of Fame Classic that people probably know. He also has the Open at Callaway Gardens in 2016. And then let's hop over to Arizona. He actually only won once. I just realizing now that it was including All-Stars, which I don't think we would count. But Memorial would be the only one.
I didn't know if you included All-Stars or not.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, either way, it's not the correct answer, even if you were including it, because 3
in Arkansas.
Going with Arkansas.
Paul, your wife, I don't know if you like.
You got to be built different to win Georgia. So.
Your wife, Paul, is telling you to get your head in the game. Come on, get your head in the game.
All right, let's move it on to stat or fiction not stat or fiction. Excuse me, I haven't updated my template yet. Know your ABCs. Question number 2. Sayananda's best event rating on tour was this past weekend at the Innova Open at Texas State's at 993. What was Sai's previous best event rating on tour, or what event was it at? From majors, elite, and silver events. We have A, 2021 Worlds, B, 2022 U.S. Women's, or C, 2023 the Open at Austin.
I'm going with U.S. Women's.
Me too. U.S. Women's.
Me and intern Ben are the same people.
Boom.
Best event rating for Sayananda prior on tour prior to this past weekend. A, 2021 Worlds, B, 2022 U.S. Women's, or C, 2023 the Open at Austin. We got 2 Bs. Dylan, on to you.
I'm gonna go Worlds. She seems like a clutch player. She wants that pressure, so we're gonna go Worlds.
U.S. Women's.
I'm going Worlds.
Oh,
all right. So we got
B.
2 for Worlds, 3 for U.S. Women's. Yep. The correct answer is, let me switch my tabs. C, the Open at Austin was actually a 974 for her, a 966 at U.S. Women's. Ben, there you go with the trick question. That's the one that people are going to think of with the her really standout finish. And then
what did she finish at Austin? She took 7th at U.S. Women's. What did she take?
I think it was 9th. I can pull it up real quick.
Is
Paul's
Evan
about to prove you wrong again, Evan? Let's go. Let's hear it.
No, I don't think so.
No. I'm just curious.
She got 9th. She got 9th at Austin.
Oh, she got 9th. What did you get? 7th at U.S. Women's?
7th at U.S. Women's, 9th at Open at Austin, and 8th at 2021 Worlds. But this was event rating.
Yes.
So
Evan, you just pitched a strike. How does it feel?
Yeah, I get a point on that one. Let's go.
That's good.
So,
that's a good point.
All right. The current 2022-2023 season, that's this current season with the wraparound events, has seen 6 different FPO winners through 6 events. This is the longest stretch of unique winners to start a Disc Golf Pro Tour season in FPO in history for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. What season had the previous longest stretch of unique winners to start the season? And that's from all standard stroke play events in the Disc Golf Pro Tour season, so including Elite and Silver, of course.
I feel
I gotta give
you gotta give us
without going over.
We got A, 2022, B, 2021, or C, 2019. What season had the previous longest stretch of unique winners to start the season?
19.
The fact that Paul just said that,
yeah, I know.
But I feel like it was last year, so I'm going last year, 2022.
I'm going 19 just because Paul. I'm playing the game. I wouldn't.
I'm gonna go opposite of both of them. So I don't know. What were the options?
2022, 2021, or 2019.
Paul has no points, right?
Yeah,
correct.
I don't know. It's 2K. Yeah, okay.
But Ben has a point.
I have a point.
And Matt's got a point, and they're both picking the ones that it probably makes sense because it wasn't last year. All right, 2019.
All right, so we got Paul 2019, we got Nick 2019. I'm trying to get context of the answer. Did everyone else answer, or you guys still have to?
No, I said 2022, but I think it's 21. Dylan, you're gonna get this one.
Then Ben, did you give an answer?
19.
19. Oh, we got a bunch of 19s.
Then I gotta go 21. On if Matt went 22, I gotta go 21.
I did go 22. I think it's 21.
I'm going
I can't
21
change it.
then.
Okay, so we got Matt with 2022, we got Nick and Dylan with 2021, and Ben and Paul with 2019. I have that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
The answer is 2021 with 4. 2019 had 3. 2022 had I think just 2. Yes, because Katrina won LVC and the Open at Belton. But in 2021, we had Paige Pierce win Las Vegas Challenge, Kona Panis, now Kona Montgomery win Waco, Katrina Allen win Jonesboro, and then Sarah Hokum win the Vintage Open as 4 straight in a row.
I knew it was post-COVID, but I was wrong with 2022.
Yeah. I was going off the one that Paige Shue won. She won 19, right?
Yeah,
Or
but
the
I think
2020.
I don't think she won it was a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. I think it was a national
Oh,
tour.
we're going Pro Tour. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. See, I get them confused. I'm used to them all being considered the same.
Yeah.
National tours and Pro Tours.
That is fair. I could run this for national tours and elite events too. I understand. But 2021 is the correct answer. We got was it
ties.
Dylan and Nick?
Yep.
I have 1 point too.
Oh shoot! I wasn't supposed to give the
Wait,
the rest
everyone
of
has
the
1
part.
point?
Not me. I got 0.
But I mean, like, nobody has more than 1 point.
Well, Paul
I
gets
got
to
2
enjoy
points.
his food now. Wait, Dylan has 2 points?
I got 2 points.
No! Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
Dylan won.
He
Yeah,
won.
I got it.
Champion.
Nice.
Oh, that's right, because you got
Congratulations,
the Arkansas one.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just different, and I'm just happy to sit here in the winner's circle with all these juggernauts. I'm humbled, man. I'm really humbled.
Wow.
I'm going to clip that out, and opening day for the White Sox, I'll post it up and say, this pitcher, man, he thinks we're the best.
Oh, yeah.
We're juggernauts.
You guys should have seen him earlier geeking out when I told him that Ken Klima was playing on his course.
Yes.
Nice.
How could you not be, though?
On his course. Wow.
I go, yeah, Paul. We got to tell him a
Do
story,
it.
Paul. Paul goes, yeah, whatever. He goes, Ken says you're a legend or whatever. And I'm like, you're messing with me, right? You're telling me Ken Klimo knows my name?
Yeah. He goes, he's a top 10 pitcher in the league. Dude's a stud. Yeah.
And there you go.
Dude.
I got to call my mom.
Just like
Call my
Ken
mom.
Klima.
so,
So,
okay, how many players on the Chicago White Sox could name what sport Ken Klimo plays? If someone neutral asked them,
Lambert.
0. Yeah, that's so
zero.
cool though. That's what
Zero.
makes it so awesome.
Yes. That is so cool. Everything is relative, and that's the best part about this is like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, we took a lot of your time. In fact, we didn't know we'd go this long, but honestly, the interview with SAI was great, and then you guys provided a lot of great information. Anytime, and I know you've said before, Dylan, you're like, yep, this is where I'll come, so we do appreciate that. And Paul, thank you for your time. Incredible things are happening out there, and thanks for your insights. I'd ask where we can go and support you, but it sounds like it's lifetime memberships.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But
We're going to have merch too, so,
What, Paul?
hoodies, T-shirts, it doesn't matter to us as long as
yeah, I
you're
was gonna
spending
say
money,
we're
happy.
just we'll keep you guys up to date when we do finally have a website and things like that, and we'll give a little bit of we'll give some time before we actually drop all this stuff. That way, people are prepared for it, not just out of the blue and people scramble, but that way people can put on their calendars.
Cool.
When we open this up, so
Sweet. Well, Dylan, best of luck pitching this season. We cannot wait to kind of follow along. I know Evan is obsessed with baseball, and so we can't wait to follow along your pitching season. Paul, best of luck at Throw Down the Mountain. And then for those who don't know, everyone's been talking about on Twitter, but Paul signed up for Music City, correct?
that is correct. Yeah, I dropped out of Tallahassee, so I reached out to Jeff Spring and said, "Hey, I'm missing a tournament. Can I make a stop in Nashville?" And he said, "You want in? You're in."
Is the finger all better?
Yeah, it's just got a little mark. You can see a little. It's probably too small in there to see, but
What's
It's
the name of that
all-
course in Nashville? I think I played that one.
it's on a park.
It's
It's called Mill Ridge, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I
Something
think
like
it's
that.
a private one.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. I guess I haven't played it then.
No.
Which one? Do you know which one you've played?
Just put-
Is it Cane Ridge?
I know it's the most. It's either the highest rated or most well-known one in
Is it
Nashville.
next to the airport?
Seven Oaks.
Seven Oaks is next to the airport.
No, No, let me check. You guys do some more
Yeah,
filler right now.
Music City is definitely at Mill Ridge.
Yeah, Music City's
Oh,
at a
really?
course that doesn't get played by the public because I actually wanted to.
There's the two popular courses because we played Seven Oaks, and then the course that we play all the time is I'm
Yeah.
blanking on the name of it. It's a little bit more north of the city, I think.
Well, we're doing a little more filler talk. And
Cedar
Cedar
Hill.
Hill.
Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cedar
Yeah,
Hill.
that one used to be part of the Music City Open. I think when it was
yeah.
a
It's too
national
it's too
tour.
small though.
Well, anyways, thank you both of you guys for joining in tonight. Cannot wait to catch up and see how you guys' seasons go. And best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having us, guys.
absolutely.
Thanks, Beth.
Peace out. Bye. All right, everybody. That was epic. If we were to make reels out of everything we just heard tonight, there's probably 25 reels.
That was just 55 minutes. No, not 55 minutes. Oh my goodness, an hour and 55 minutes. Right?
Hour and
It
15
was an
minutes.
hour and 15.
Of
Evan's
my
Evan, you're on a struggle bus today.
no. Of
Are you on
interviews back to
EST
back.
time?
no, get out of here. I'm saying back-to-back interviews, Sai to Paul and Dylan. That was an hour and 55. But that is funny, right? Is my math right? Time is hard.
Dude, you're on EST time. We don't know. You're not
Yeah.
on the same dimension.
Yeah,
as
we
us.
started at 7:20 with the interview, and we're ending at about 9:20 with
This is-
the end of the
yeah,
interview.
yeah.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
the interviews are great, and I think that's where our show thrives a lot. We used to do a lot more talking about topics, which we'll eventually do again. This was an off week, and hey, if you line up Dylan Cease and you line up Paul McBeth and you line up Sai, who's never been on the show before, great win. People want to know about her. It just is what it is. But there's a lot going on in the chat. We had a lot of topics listed out here, but we are kind of late, and I don't think there's too much more to go on about for tonight.
Matt, there are two big things that we do need to talk about, though. One of those being incredibly well-flavored, good-flavored, however you want to say it, Double G Craft Jerky. We absolutely love the folks from Double G Craft Jerky. Double G does an awesome job with the Children's Foundation, makes incredible jerky, and it's enjoyed by almost everyone who plays disc golf and actually likes beef jerky. Be on the lookout for them. They have awesome new flavors coming out in the next few months, I would assume. They have some really cool things in the works that Ted from Double G Craft Jerky cannot wait to tell us about so that we can tell
He
all of you
can't
about
wait,
them.
as in he's like, he can't
can't.
wait. Like, he has to tell us now. Like
Like, he's
can't.
got to tell us ASAP.
Well,
And, but anyways,
jerky's what
definitely
keeps me
check out
alive
anything.
lately.
Yep.
And Double G Craft Jerky, it's so tender, moist, succulent, flavorful, spicy. It's an amazing. I'm telling you, with the amount of travel I've been doing lately, I haven't been doing as much disc golf. As long as I eat a piece of jerky like every half an hour, I'm good to go. So Double G Craft Jerky, been with us for a long time. Go support them. They support disc golf, and it's an.
if you're a
epic thing.
TD, check out their player pack items that they have on there. And then also, if you're looking to not have to worry about consistently ordering craft jerky, check out their subscription method. It works wonders. We get jerky every single month for the Nick and Matt show. We love it. We actually, Evan brought this up the other day, but we got to finish out that game that we started earlier this year. We got to figure out the points. We got to figure out who's eating
We
the
gotta
one
play
chip,
one more.
spiciest beef jerky.
I brought
and
it up
everything
because
like
I was
that.
winning. I
Yes.
don't win at a competition that partly, very smallly, includes disc golf.
We have to
very
play
often.
again. Nick has to come
So-
up, and it's a grand
gotta-
prix.
It
Look,
has
it
to
was
be
poor
nice weather.
I wasn't feeling
It's
great,
got to be
you
nice weather,
know?
decent weather, and I want to do that CTP challenge again, the augmented reality. One of our videos that people have loved for a long time. We'll bring everybody in.
Yes.
I would like to bring in someone like Simon. I know you're out there and you're home for a little while, but I don't expect you to be around when we make this.
Yeah.
But like someone like Simon or someone we could bring in as a feature guest to try to beat us. Try to beat us. We'll see if that happens. But
Yeah. Hey, I got a quick thing to add.
Yep.
Going back to the Know Your ABCs, I had to look it up real quick. The longest stretch of national tours, pro tours, including silvers, the longest stretch of unique winners to start an FPO season, 2021 is still it if you include national tours. If you throw in a
Gotcha.
national tour, it had Haley King win Texas State, so it would have pushed it to 5. So even if you had Paige Shue winning the national tour of Vegas in 2019, it still goes to 4 before a repeat winner. So
You just wanted to prove Paul wrong.
I just
when he
I
wasn't
mean, hey,
on.
hey, no, I don't have to prove him wrong. I'm just adding additional context. He is an encyclopedia. He knows so many things, and then it's just about putting it together. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So
Exactly.
also, we want to give a shout out to Disc Golf Swag. Nick, tell us what we need to know about Disc Golf Swag.
So this is on a huge personal shout out to them because they sent me this awesome.
Look
This
at
is
that.
a buzz.
Holy
This
crap.
is a buzz. Now, this you would think is a normal dye job, but it's actually not. It is kind of like a picture printed on it. All designs and colors are embedded into the plastic, so there's no scratching or anything. I can throw it at trees, and the actual disc is like the stamp of it is not going to get screwed up. They retain the same exact feel for them. They're using the highest quality plastic molds that companies have to offer. Works pretty much on any disc that is of premium plastic quality. So check them out at discgolfswag.com. Also use code Nick and Matt for 10% off. For everyone wondering, this disc actually, I'm kind of a big nerd. I love playing video games. I love watching anime, and this is from Naruto. If you're a fan of it at all, it is one of the Sharingens. I'm pretty sure it's actually supposed to be Madara's or Sasuke's.
I'm impressed, Nick.
It's like the Chico Tome, the Mangekyo. I can't pronounce them all, but I actually, funny enough, this is just a random fact about me. I would love to learn how to speak Japanese. So I said that for like 10 years probably now and haven't tried to learn it, but that's one of the few languages in life that I actually would like to be able to speak and listen to and understand it.
So before we close out, our own intern Ben, he made an appearance on Simon Lizott's YouTube channel recently, this last week. And we have never been more proud here at the Nick and Matt Show of our own intern Ben.
Thank you.
What was that like?
It was awesome. And Simon's obviously a great person to be around. He's just like he is on camera. They say don't meet your idols, but if Simon's your idol, definitely meet him. But no, yeah, it was awesome. I was just planning on recording for him. And he was just like, yeah, put it on a mic. None of it was planned. So big shout outs to Simon. Very grateful for the opportunity and including me in something I was not expecting it to be included in.
Well,
hey, I'll say this too, in the kindest way possible. I'm the last one left of the show who hasn't been on the vlogs.
I thought of that.
I did get a shout out. I did get a shout out once during that wonderfully done quiz that went so well. But I mean, I don't want to be playing disc golf on his vlog anyways. I'm not good enough.
Now if he's listening, he's like, got to get him on. But
Ben, you beat me there. Nice job.
Well,
thank you.
I just find it very entertaining, and I think many have probably heard the story. But intern Ben, I still call him Ben too, but intern Ben reached out to the show like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
February is when I started. So yeah, I'd say like January-ish.
A year ago. A little over a year
2021.
And hey, Matt, I'm happy to help however we need at the show. You know, I think we could do some cool stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to line up the wrong guy like I did with Evan. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I thought you were going to say me. I was going to laugh.
I don't want to line up the wrong guy. You know, it's important for the show and all that. And I was like, you know, we'll bring you in, but we're going to have you intern. I literally told you it was going to be an intern spot.
Yeah.
I was like, because we'll feel it out. We don't want it to be official and have hard feelings and have to fire somebody, right?
Yeah.
The time goes by and we just kept being like our intern producer, Ben, intern Ben. And eventually it was just like, this is who you are. And it's working on the show.
Yep.
People love intern Ben. So when it happened that you were on Simon Lizott's YouTube.
Yes.
And he goes, this is intern Ben. Like it's
synonymous with me now. I am intern Ben.
It literally cracked me up. I'm like, Simon just said, here's intern Ben. So he is now, I don't know, probably forever in disc golf. Probably. Unless things just go really bad.
So the thing,
intern Ben.
The thing is, that's cool is like, I'm okay with that because if I keep getting new opportunities, technically I'll just keep being an intern. Doesn't matter if it's here or filming with Simon or something like that. I'm just a sponge trying to get the disc golf knowledge. I'll always be an intern.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Like it's just your character name brand. I feel like you do something massive. You running the pro tour and people are like, what's that intern Ben? Like it's just so cool.
Just always the intern.
So cool.
Let's go.
So anyway, shout out for that, man. I think it had 150,000 views last I checked in 3 days.
Yeah, that video popped off.
Nothing to do with me. All Simon. like that's not because of me. I know the title
is Intern Ben is on the new vlog.
But no,
Is that actually the title?
No, it's like the title is, I think, what discs I've been throwing the first 3 months.
I was
or
just planning on
something like that.
recording it for him, and then.
Yeah.
But I want to say a lot of positive comments. Thank you so much for. I felt the love. It was really really cool to see. So thanks to everyone for spreading love and showing intern Ben, aka me, the support. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you on the show. It's like people want you to talk more, and eventually you'll get there. But
I'm okay with my role.
Because what happens?
It works.
Yeah, what happens when you start talking more?
You get ranked number 9.
Yes. All right. And with that,
cue
that's
up the
pretty
low-key
funny. That
piano.
actually is pretty funny. You felt the room, and it was good. I appreciate that. All right. We're all just gonna crack up and leave now. All right, let's
Cue up
do
the
it.
music, Ben.
Nick, close us out. This was a long show, but it worked out.
Music.
Oh,
have
you
the
want the?
piano
Here we go.
music?
It's
Yeah.
coming.
Folks, thank you for tuning on this lovely Monday night. We hope you enjoyed what is a lot of people saying their favorite episode so far. SAI Ananda coming on, incredible guest. We are super thankful to have her on. And then Paul and Dylan being able to talk about what they are doing to bring stuff into the sport and kind of put their money back into the sport, which is just incredible to see. Once again, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel on this video, all those good things. Appreciate you all being here. Tell someone you love them this week. Catch you in the next one.
Give us a little bit, Ben.
It's a Nick and Matt show. Everybody wants to go to the Nick and Matt show.
With that, everyone, intern Ben, you're awesome. Nick, you're awesome. Evan, you're awesome. Until next time, peace out, everybody.